Blimey. Blimey. Apart from accidentally, well, say accidentally, apart from using my own graphics, I've done everything really good. But I can't figure out how to... I don't have anything else to use apart from my own graphics, so I don't really know what else to do. So, hello. Good thing, and I'll turn the music off. Listen to my little hat. You ready? A jingle jangle. But anyway, let me try and find a way just to block that. I didn't even realise that's there. It's so blatant. It looks like I'm just trying to self-plug. I'm not. I'm here to have fun with you guys. So, let's just do something like this. This is the beauty of streaming with just me and not the rest of them, because I don't really know what I'm doing. So, thrills and the spills, eh? Thrills and the spills. But Merry Christmas, everyone. My plan is something like this. We just need to move you across a bit. That'll do. Right. Background colour. There we go, look at that. You can barely tell when anything's done. I'm used to using it. I've spent ages trying to figure out what to do because I've only really got certain things for the Wildcats. So I've got I have 3 face cam ones for when Jay wasn't here and it was me, Nim and Brett. But I thought it'd just be easier to set up this, so you got the chat on the side, and I've also, from where I'd streamed on my own channel before, I've got this one set up, so I can go over and look at Fantasy Premier League, which I realise actually I might just need to grab the Merry Christmas and move this over. And then once we've done that, we can have a little Christmas stream. So I do apologise, people. It's not exactly the most professional stream, but isn't that the best part about having me as a Wildcat? Half the time I don't even know what day of the week is. I do. Like today is Satursun. That'll do. Right, so Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Oops, I've got to turn that off, haven't I? Right. Welcome along, everyone. Get your questions in. Get anything in that you want answered, really. And if you fancy, I don't know what to do. So, if you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to chill with me, let me know. I'm going to talk about my thoughts. I haven't done anything with my Game Week 15 team, so I'll be doing that. What else have I got? If you've got Discord and fancy calling into the show, then feel free. I'm happy to do anything. I'm happy to do anything. We're here to chill. We're here to have a laugh. Some Christmas cheer. Because it's just about all I bring, really. Apart from saying Arsenal are rubbish. They should sack their manager. Apart from calling people that want to transfer out Tottenham players idiots. I'm very happy most of the time. Yes, hello Ray, hello Rebel, hello Ezo, hello Ante, hello Richard S, hello Avish D, hello Nasty Balls, hello A, and hello Rajan. Apologies if you came here for the Wildcats, because it's literally your least favourite Wildcat, the one who doesn't do any content. This guy. Not the happy, cheerful, really nice Brett. Not the Mr. Technoblade J&O. And not the lovely Queen of FPL, Nymphria, either. Just your resident bumbling weirdo. So cheers, everyone. Oh, can't beat it. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you want from this. Anything you want answered, anything you want doing. let me know, and I'm happy to oblige, because this is it's for you guys. Ray is basically FPL community's resident troll of editors, producers of content. He is very good, Ray. Now, 5th member of the Wildcat. As a Gunnaker, I agree. It's hard to not to agree. Come on. And I'm pretty sure I've been tempted since I've been off, and I've got to do a bit of cooking. I think later on or tomorrow, especially tomorrow, I've got to do some cooking. I've been tempted to try and find the stream really early on when I said they should bin Arteta because he's not good enough. Because I need that clip in my life. I needed Ray to be around then to post out. Kurt isn't the biggest fan of Mikel Arteta. I was like, we'll find it and go, thank you very much. What are we drinking? Most important question. Just a Monster. Again, I don't know what you're doing about, you know, promotion of things. I don't know, but yeah, lovely can of Monster. A can of Wake Me Up juice, as I like to call it. But seeing as we weren't really live this week, I was hoping we were live because obviously I had loads of time off. In the end, I started drinking and playing Among Us with Nim, with Miggy, quite a few others last night. And to be honest, let's get out of the way. I'm happy Ray's a 5th Wildcat because I was adamant he was just going to take my place as the 4th one. I don't really do anything. I'm a big fan of Pepe, Kurt. To be honest, I had been in the past when his fixtures looked good and he looked like he was in form, but not now. Something's wrong with Arteta. Something's wrong with Arsenal. Something big is wrong with Arsenal. Something huge is wrong with Arsenal. Pepe triple captain blank in 18 done. Yeah, we'll go over to the other one. Why not? Why not? Let's have a look. Scroll down. There you go. So we'll have a go on to here. So, Game Week 18. They've got double Game Week, haven't they? Oh, triple. Oh no, it's only. Oh no, they haven't. Sorry. They're one of the only. It's Game Week 19 double Game Week. Game Week 18 is the one with half of them playing. Joy. Yeah, that would be fun. Cool. Look at that. It's gonna be a fun game week. I'll run through my team whilst I'm here, why not? 60 points, not the best. I had a last minute change in captaincy from Fernandes to Kane. Yeah, just the 15 points lost there. So not good. Only positive is I had Fofana coming off the bench for Lewis, because I thought Fofana and Lewis were gonna, Fofana and Ayling were gonna have a tough time. So I thought, you know what? Fofana, get rid of him, or put him on the bench. But he's got more chance of getting points than Luke Ayling. How lucky was I? Because Lewis didn't play. And also 1-0. So there you go. Apart from that, though, not the best game week. And it's been bad to say, 10, 17, 16, not the best game week. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You get your captaincy pick wrong and everything falls apart. And I got 60 points, but the average was 60. So it's effectively, I didn't do anything. There you go. Supreme, good evening. Fofana's a really interesting. Oh, I thought he was a right wing back, but he's a right centre back at the moment. He's playing as a 3, and he only got the assist because he was fouled. So I had bad intel when I brought him in, and he's quite expensive. But also, the reason I like him is that thing right there, the differential. 0.7, and again, it's always good to have some differentials if you know in your team. Again, I'm not a one to listen to. Hell, I'm 1.3 million in the world. But the differentials are the ones that are going to get you points that other people don't have. It's all well and good having your Fernandes, your Salahs that are well owned. You've got to have the other players as well. Pepe Chill captain blank in 18. Never Kurt. Thoughts on Alba as a pick for free hit 18? No. In the community team, I would say no, and it's a tough one. It really is, because this game week 18. I'm just getting this feeling that Palace are going to be awkward against Arsenal. But at the same time, if you look into free hit, which I probably will free hit, in terms of big money players, Alba's got to be up there. The only other big money striker you should be getting in that week is Kane. That's the only one. That is the only one I think you should be considering. And to be honest, there's not really too many big money midfielders in there. You look at maybe De Bruyne, Son. So you can afford to have 2 big money strikers. So for the free hit, yes. In terms of in general for future, if you're not playing free hit, no, do not. Avoid Arsenal. It'll either be bench boost or it'll be triple captain. Because I'm looking at these double game weeks. These 5 here are the 10 teams that get in a double game week. I'm looking at that and thinking, you have my attention. And I'm thinking, something as bonkers as triple captaining Sebastian Haller, home to Burnley, home to West Brom. It's nuts. It makes no sense. But hey, it looks quite good. Sorry, it's like just jingle every now and again. Other ones, I'd consider look at Liverpool, because Man United are there to concede goals. Man United as well, because Liverpool are there to concede goals. I'm not really too sure, apart from that. So yeah, free hit 2018, yes, it probably will be bench boost, because I don't think triple captains need to be used yet. I'd like to get my chips out of the way. I don't like holding them. Last season, you know, so obviously for obvious reasons, I held them into the summer, and it wasn't the best. You know, it wasn't. It's not. I don't like having chips waiting and waiting and waiting. So yeah, the free hit will be used, and if you've got a blank game week, before I tried to keep it. In the past, I read, if you remember the Liverpool-Watford game, it was in a blank game week, and Salah scored 4. I had him captained, and I ended up going up in rank with like 3 or 4 players playing, just because that Salah captaincy. Also, I was ranked really low at that time. It's tough. It really is tough to know when to play and when not to play it. Really is. But this it seems too written in the stars. 5 there, 15 here. If it looks like Aguero will start all over him as captain, oh, what's wrong with people? Aguero. Aguero. Oh no, what have you done? You've been watching too many Nymphrea videos. That's what you've been doing. Sometimes those left field picks pay off big time. Exactly. Sometimes they do come back to haunt you. But obviously, their Fafana's done alright. And I can't remember when I brought Fafana in. Let's have a look, shall we? I've had him for quite a few weeks now. 2. Is there a way you can tell when you transferred someone in? Oh, there you go. Had him since game week 10. So it's not the best. 1, 2, 6, 1, 10. But it's not too bad, really. And for a differential, his ownership's gone down. And looking at the fixtures, it's a bit tough, but double game week, you never know. You never know. Who are we thinking for free hit 18? Obviously, shall we do that? Shall we do that? Have a look at a watch Aguero score a hat-trick after Kerr rejects him so hard. He can, all well and good, you know, he can score a hat-trick one week, that's fine, but I always look at transfers, unless it's a free hit team or you're doing a team for double game week, I always look at transfers and think, what can they do the season-long approach? Very rarely I'll bring someone in for a short period of time, and Aguero's not one for a season-long approach. Bring him in for one game, yeah. More than one, and Pep will think, on the bench. I mean, the stats back it up, and that's the frustrating thing. Is if you have a look at Sergio, look his minutes played. 1449, 2457. 1960, 2404, 2361, 2532, 1528, 1944, 2576. He never lasts more than 70% of a season. Aguero never lasts. So to have him, and the price is granted, you look at those goals and the points. Hell yeah. Fantastic. But if you get a bad run of him, he will get subbed on, off the bench, might not score. I just think it's to get him in. If you know, like if Sterling's injured, Jesus is injured, you think, yeah, Aguero's going to have to play a few games. They're spread out, yeah. Fixtures are crammed in. That's the thing that scares me. Yeah, free hit 18 draft. So let's play the hypothetical free hit. So I have this lot. Southampton aren't playing, so I need another goalkeeper. We know we're going to keep the Spurs. We know we're going to just get rid of everything. Get rid of everything, and we'll see who we bring in. So this is. I'm not going to press. Oh, hopefully I don't press confirm. If I press confirm, I'm going to cry because I'm going to lose a load of prizes. But yeah. So in terms of free hit 18, 5 games. So for me, I'm looking at Kane and Son. They are staying no matter what. Even for the single game week that they've got next. Sheffield United, man. You saw what Man United did against them on the break. If Man United played well, and I reckon they properly were able to finish their chances, put their passes together, it could have been double figures. So let's just look at that. Let's just remind ourselves of that, alright? So in terms of that, Sheffield United have got a game, so I will leave Brewster in. Just because of that. Apart from that, I don't think I've got much other cover. Lewis will come in as well. He's the cover. I've got no Wolves, I don't think. I've got no Everton. No other Newcastle. No Brighton. No Villa. So it's going to be a very big changed team. And it's hypothetical because prices will go up, they'll go down because it's FPL. So I've got to look at the big money players that are going to play. So still Man City. In terms of this, I'm assuming there is cup games before it, in between it, like FA Cup. So my hope is Aguero will play there, maybe play there as well, but we don't know. But Aguero could be a big choice. But one that will definitely make it in is KDB. Home to Brighton. Get Sterling in. Move over to Arsenal. And I think, because he's a midfielder, Aubameyang. And that's a good proportion of my money spent, but we can always get the cheaper people for the free hit team. We need a keeper. Who do we get as keeper then? Leno's a shout, actually. I don't mind I don't mind Leno. But I think we've just got to go with something cheap and cheerful. But even then, I'm pretty sure Dubravka. Does Dubravka still play? Darlow, sorry. Yeah, 5 million. Went up or down once. Sort of goalkeeper will let in one shot as well. So I don't know how we're going to do this with a goalkeeper. Jones bloke, good afternoon. Hope you're doing very well. Exactly. Full list of Premier League games. I can you wait. All the keepers are pretty expensive, aren't they, that are playing? For now, we'll stick Leno in. We need to look at some defenders. Which is going to be tough again. Who'd you go with this defence? There's no Arsenal players in the defence that appease me. Everton. Again, it's the case of Holgate. Will he play then? There's no one really cheap. I'll tell you what, I'll get my third Spurs player in. I would say, hopefully, Serge Aurier might play. But that's a big risk. Eric Dyer, I think, is pretty set in stone to play. So I'd probably just stick Eric Dyer in, 5 million. Maybe, hopefully, not anything off. Lloris, Villa often have lots of shots and don't score. How much is Lloris? Is he 5.5? Because that may stops me from getting Dyer then. I'm going to stick with Leno for now. My hope is he can just sneak a clean sheet. Diaz, yeah, I was hoping I could get another City attacker, but you have to balance it this week. So Diaz would come in as well. That gives me 2 starting at the back, Dyer and Diaz. Leno in goal. You've got 4 in the midfield there. 1 up top. So we're in need of a couple more players, really. We've got 18.8 million to spare. We're not going to fit all of it in. We're going to have to get rid of one of these 2, probably Sterling. But who for in the City midfield? Hypothetically, to get more money in, I would say Sterling would go out. And if Aguero was playing, I'd say Aguero would probably have to come in. Just because, yeah, that's basically it. Next, I'll probably have a look at some Wolves defenders. Kilman doesn't play anymore, does he? Oh, he did play against Burnley. Fair enough. Connor Cody's a shout. He didn't do much. He's a playing defender. Another one, though. I like the Everton options. Seamus Coleman back? No. So I'm assuming it's Holgate currently that's playing right back. Don't really keep up to date with Everton. Let's just go with Big Michael Keane. Thing is, would we play Lewis? If we would play Lewis, I think so. No, we get rid of Keane. We don't need him, so we'd have Dyer, Diaz, and Lewis at the back, and then we'd have 2 really cheap defenders. So who are the cheapest currently? Douglas, yeah, he'd come in. Why not? And then we just got to search it by price. Yeah, West Ham player. Why not? So Douglas and Johnson. We could go 4-3-3, but I think Brewster's cheap there, so we've probably got to keep him in. And just in case we need another player to play. Coleman played the whole game yesterday. Oh, in the cup, right. Ooh, so Coleman could be a shout. For now, we'll keep it as it is, just to try and keep the or get through this. And then it's literally we've got 12.2 between 2 more players. So Grealish is an obvious shout. Zaha's an obvious shout. I'll go with Zaha against Arsenal more than Grealish against Spurs. I think we need some coverage elsewhere. So very, very shoehorned into like 3 teams here. So we will go as Everton. My hope is that James Rodriguez will be fit by then. Although he hasn't done too well. Do we get DCL in? $11 goals, 4 assists. He's got that means on average he's got at least 1 return every game. I say we'd go with DCL in, 3 big price players up top, and then the midfielders. We just sort the price. Is that Penny? Oh, Ramsey. I can say we have a player called Matt Penny at Wednesday. And then we would do Raheem Harper. Dale Stevens. Dale Stevens, 4.3. If he starts playing again, I can't believe he isn't playing. 0.2 to spare. There we go then. That's what I'd go with for now. Rough draft. So Leno in goal, back 3 of Dyer, Diaz and Lewis, with Douglas and Johnson just sitting there pretty on the bench. You've got a midfield with 3 in it, with De Bruyne. Oh, I need another player, don't I? Oh, 4-3-3, that's cool. With De Bruyne, Aubameyang and Son, and up top Aguero, DCL and Kane. We could also, in fact, I reckon, get a bit more money and get a cheaper goalkeeper because it's free hit. Oh, we can't. Literally all 4 million. Fair enough. Damn it. Okay. New Glassams, good evening. Hope you're doing very well. So I haven't really paid much attention to the comments here at all. So, yeah. Oh, I tell you what. Actually, Saka. That's not a bad shout. I forgot about Saka. How much is Saka? 5.1. That's not bad. But thing is, who comes out of your team for him? We probably have to get rid of Diaz and go over like a defender from smaller team, or we just go without Aguero because Aguero, he's not worth it anyway. Oh, I don't know. Don't know how we'd fit him in. Ideally, you don't want to waste too much money on the bench on a free hit team, so there you go. I'm quite impressed with that. Stones, I'd love to say Stones, yes, but at the moment, who's to say who's going to play in that City defence? Yeah, he's playing at the moment. And to be fair, 4 clean sheets out of 4 starts this season, or out of 5 starts this season. Forgot about the first one. But he could be out of favour then. Gabriel, Dyer, Stones, not bad. Callum Wilson yet. So there's changes to be had. And we could be here for hours, but we all know Aguero's going to be injured again by then. Aubameyang's probably going to be sold. So there you go. It's a rough backup. So we'll just ignore that. Just to double check. There you go. So it's just a rough guide, but it's going to be tough, and there's going to be a lot of same teams. Definitely. But there you go. I have to admit, using Lewis and Saka, maybe dropping Aguero down to Wilson, then you can afford Saka, you can afford another defender. You've got a couple of cheap backups on the bench. It's probably better that way. So yeah, that is definitely a shout there, Rebel. Who are you spending Christmas with, Kurt? What tier are you in? I'm in tier 4. Big up Chelmsford. I'm spending Christmas on my own. I dropped some presents around parents' houses and grandparents' houses today, but yeah, Christmas all on my own. There'll be a lockdown in the new year, so I'll be all on my own through that. Hence the reason I'm here with you today. I've got nothing better to do. Had some pigs in blankets for lunch. I was going to do them in rolls, but I stood up, went through the rolls and thought, I can't bother to butter rolls. So I just had a plate of pigs in blankets, 6 of them. Lovely. Can't beat them. So yeah, all on my own. On me lonesome. Not ideal, but it's for the safety of everyone. It could be worse. Every time you're having a bad day, anyone's having a bad day, having a bad moment, you just gotta pick yourself up and think, look, it could be worse. Right, I'm gonna try and sort out the Wildcats Discord. I want to get people in that again. I like Discord, and to be honest, the Discord's gone very quiet. So, first of all, I need to find a link. I've also got a delivery which is meant to be coming any minute now. So, yay. So, I think we'll just have, oh, how do you do this? How do you get a link? I'll do this every single time. Create invite, I suppose? Hidden. Okay, so, this, oh, whoops. There is delivery. You always get professionalism from me. Just a huge amount of unprofessionalism as well. Discord link. Join and sit in the voice call to chat with me. Kurt, you happy? Kurt, happy to join you if you'd like. Yeah, hell, get yourselves in here, people. Ray sent me a message on Discord. So I think now I'm in the voice channel. So it should be that now, guys, if you just join the Discord, get in the voice channel, let's have a chat. Take your time, Kurt, if you need to blow the... Hell yeah. Whoops. No, it's for my new bed. I've now got everything barring a little topper. Can I get in? Anyone's free. Get the Discord link. Can I say pin message? I've pinned the message. Discord link. All you got to do is click that link and then head into the voice channel. Let's have a chat. Any FPL questions you can ask me. Do any gaming streams tonight on Twitch? I don't know. I want to. I really want to. In fact, just in case I'm midway through something, I'll deafen myself. I really want to. I don't know what I could do. I may do some Jackbox party games. Merry Christmas, AY. So yeah, I may do some Jackbox party games. There'll be some more cricket. I might head onto the WildCats Twitch over Christmas and start doing some more Subnautica. It's been a long time since I've done some Subnautica. So it's a terrifying game. Won't use some Cricket 19. That's the plan. Yeah, we'll do some Cricket 19 as well. I'm not sure if I'll do it tonight. Well, I'll try and do something tonight. It might just be that I play games offline with your friends. Because Solo Talia I do a lot with. Need to do the GTA heist with her. Provided she's actually stopped for me. She might have done, she might not have done. How do all the Wildcats meet? Oh no, I asked Jackson 5s first. Should I use free hit, bench boost, and then second wildcard, or free hit, triple captain for double game week? I would, my personal opinion, and when to use your chips are hard. I would use free hit for the blank game week. So game week 18, on with 5 games in it, I would use your free hit. That way you can get in your 3 City players, your 3 Spurs players, your 3 Arsenal players, if you even want to punish yourself. Your Liverpool players, your Wolves players, Everton players, all like that. And that way then that doesn't affect your team going forwards. Now I'd look at maybe trying to bolster your team for double game week. So get those players in that are strong. So that's why I've got Marcus Rashford in. For the long haul, he looks good to have for double game week. So I'd keep on looking at things like that. I'm going to try and get De Bruyne in. But I don't know how I'm going to fit De Bruyne in the midfield of Souček, Rashford, Fernandes, Son and Salah. So I wouldn't wildcard, because if you wildcard then you can't use any chips. But I wouldn't, as long as your team looks strong. I mean, you've got to look at game week, I'm on game week 15 for some reason. Game week 19, game week 20, there is some decent games in there, but you've got to look maybe if you've got Spurs players, they're at home as Liverpool. So you're going to have some Spurs players in there for the one game week, granted. But maybe some cheaper players like your West Hams, who West Ham got, Palace away, could be a bogey side for them, just things like that. But it shouldn't be too bad. You shouldn't have too many players like that. But I'd plan your single game week transfers. I brought Rashford in for someone, so I'm preparing now for that double game week. Do something like that, and then bench boost for that. Game week 19. But to answer Ant A, how did all the Wildcats meet? I know quite a bit of it. But I'll give it a go. So here it goes. I stumbled upon doing FPL content by accident. My first ever collaboration on football and FPL stuff was with J&O. So that's that. Nim was also doing content, and I think Nim and Jay got in contact somehow. Don't quite know that bit. Then we've also got I think Nim sent an email fangirling Brett, which is how those two. Well, that's I didn't know how they started talking. I don't think Brett realised, but that's roughly how they met. Nim was a fan of Brett. And it's sort of one big community anyway, and that's sort of what it is. There you go. Discord trying to call. Oh, sorry. So the way it should be is if you scroll down, can't see the voice channel. Ah. The voice channel should be down the bottom. So you can't. No one can see the voice channel. Down the bottom. So you can see all the tabs about start here, announcements, discussions, Premier League teams. The voice channel should be down there. So get in there. It's been very dormant, admittedly. But if we're going to do this more often, let's grow the Discord again. Discord's a fun place. And that Discord's already set up. So I can just literally go there and play with my toys. My toys have been bought for me. I had to make my own toys on my own Discord, and I've still not got anything near looking as good as that. I've got little headings for it. Bloody hell. So the way it should work is that if you scroll down all the headings, there should be a little... oops. I got something wrong. Should be a little heading. Trying to figure out how I can post a photo. Yeah, scroll down to the bottom on the left-hand panel. So left-hand... Oh, Ray's in there. So scroll down to the bottom on the left-hand panel, and you should be good. And I just undeafened myself. Oh, I just undeafened myself. Oh, I'm pants at this, aren't I? Poor Ray. Been in there for ages. The one time I go back. Oh, Jesus. There he is, the man, the myth, the concentration face. J&O's in chat. So yes, I'm now unmuted. I'm not going to touch it again. I'm in the voice channel. So, yeah. It should be that you just come in. But discussion, general. For all the new joiners, join the voice channel at the bottom of the left-hand panel for a chat. There you go. So, right. I'm not... I deafen myself just because I can concentrate then, and I don't lose my train of thought. I can continue my point. Right. I see Ray in the chat. Has this worked? I can hear myself. No, I can't.
You can hear me now, yeah?
Yes! Oh, my goodness me. God, I'm shy. Bants at this. Well, welcome along, Ray. We got there in the end.
How you doing, lad?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Yeah. It was a nice surprise to be announced as the 5th Wildcat. So, yeah, just feeling humble now.
100%. 100%. Well, it's nice to have you. That means I can sort of become even more unprofessional, I believe. That's the words that no one said, but I'm going to start doing anyway. More people to pick up my slack. And apologise for Kurt calling the loyal subscribers idiots for his transfers. I can't wait. It's brilliant. It's nice to have you around.
Absolutely.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you all. Nice to see different yeah, I don't. This last 10 minutes, Jay, has been hell. I'm really bad at tech, but we're here anyway. So, Ray's here. Anyone else is free to join as well. But yeah, apart from that, it's you just chill. Any questions, anything you want to talk about, let me know. Here to chill, have a bit of fun.
Have you... Oh, feel like I'm frozen a bit. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Completely non-FPL related. Yeah, I kind of agree with you with Arteta, really. And I feel like we haven't got the 15th worst squad in the league. So... And we're moaning quite a bit about it, actually, and just wondering who could step in, if anyone.
We need an actual manager. You need an actual manager. That's the problem.
What are your thoughts on Rafa Benitez just to steady the ship until the end of the season?
We saw it's It sounds a bit stupid and it sounds a bit offensive to poor Rafa, but he's a big club Sam Allardyce. Because he will come in and steady the ships of clubs that are too big for just a man to come in 4-4 effing 2, lump the ball up top to the big man. And he's got proven history doing it in Europe. He did an okay job with Newcastle. I'd say go for it.
Might as well, better than Arteta at the moment. But I think with Rafa Benitez, what's funny is that he went to Madrid, kind of really balls it up, and then suddenly went to Newcastle, and I felt like his time at Madrid was forgotten. Because they actually then went on to win the Champions League that year, I think, with Zidane, during his half season.
Yeah.
So I don't think Benitez gets enough slack that he probably should, but shit, it's better than Arteta.
Well, I think Arteta will come good because he's had a good tutelage. With spending time under Pep at City, but at the end of the day, it's his first managerial appointment. I was talking to my mate after football the other day, and I mentioned this. It was a similar thing to Lampard, but it was pointing out that Lampard did a season at Derby, got all his mistakes out of the way, got a good season under his belt. Yes, Rebel, we can hear you.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, sweet. Hey, Ray. How you guys doing? So I think I might hear an echo, FYI, for one of you guys in here. Maybe it's me, but I have headphones in, so I don't know.
I don't think I can hear an echo, but it probably is me, knowing my luck.
I think it's
Kurt's coming in
delayed stream.
Yeah.
The delayed stream is coming through.
Wait, the stream's coming through my mic?
Somebody's.
Mine?
Oh, that's weird. If it
Yeah,
is
because
me.
I hear me now on the stream, the background.
Yeah, so Derek, we were just talking about Rafa Benitez possibly being the next Arsenal manager if Arteta is let go, because he won't step down. Why would he step down? Probably getting $500,000 a month.
Yeah, exactly. I would have stepped down.
You got to fire me, baby.
Oh yeah, there's no reason you would just quit. It's a shame. I mean, obviously he was just in Spurs, but it seems like the manager whose style fits Arsenal the most would be somebody like Pochettino. Overall, it's kind of a bummer that he's headed to PSG. I think that's just kind of bad for football. I don't really see PSG succeed that much. But
I think a good point that Supreme puts in the chat is that Thomas Tuchel is now available. Would he be a one to potentially look at for Arsenal fans?
I find it interesting. I probably should let Ray speak to it more. As you guys, are you a Gunner fan as well, Kurt?
Oh no,
Sheffield Wednesday.
I'm basically the
Wednesday.
Down.
Okay, all right. So Jamie Vardy says hello.
Yeah,
but yeah, I Tuchel is just anybody from the Dortmund system is interesting to me. I don't know much about Tuchel's history in terms of how much of his success has been kind of his own. Seems like I'd say he followed in Klopp's footsteps, but then again, Dortmund kind of collapsed at the end there for Klopp. So I know Hasenhüttl was another guy who came from Dortmund. I believe he's an Austrian, and he came from Dortmund's academy. And the Germans seem to. There's a big trend of things going toward German management, I think. I find a lot of clubs right now would really benefit from some of the things that the Germans are doing. Particularly, you're seeing a lot of 4-2-2-2, right, with like Hasenhüttl.
Yeah.
And I think I could really see a benefit for some of the Arsenal players from a system like that. I think Chelsea could benefit from a German influence, especially when they brought in two German world-class, big transfers like Havertz and Werner. Yeah, Tuchel's interesting. Anybody that can play some kind of open, expressive, attacking football and get results, right, is probably going to excite Arsenal fans, and results are ultimately the most important thing. And he's gotten them, and if you can win at Dortmund, I think that always means something, because they usually play with a pretty young lineup, and of course you've always got Bayern dominating that league. It's not an easy league to win in. So.
Yeah, exactly. And as much as sort of it's easy to say with Dortmund, are they following in the previous manager's footsteps? Dortmund are also a club that their star players consistently leave. So you're never stuck with one world-class player for too long. Besides Marco Reus, every other player that has come in and looked really good has ended up going.
Yeah,
which is the
and
other
I think Arsenal deals with a similar situation, right? Where they feel like they're a stepping stone. Or I think Arsenal need a youth movement for two reasons. Probably one, because they just kind of have a youth movement. They have these kids that can really play. Two, they have, I think, a culture of sort of some embedded veterans that find it to be a cushy place to play and to collect a paycheck. And I would rather have that club be led forward by guys like Tierney and Saka and Reece Nelson and Joe Willock, all these guys, Martinelli in particular. I think Tierney, Saka, and Martinelli are kind of the future of that club. If they can keep them happy, keep them fit.
Yeah.
Those three guys could really kind of. Saka is, I guess, more of a winger up front too, but you kind of have somebody at the back, somebody in the middle, through the middle a little bit, maybe in a 10 role, kind of all over the pitch, and plays a little left back too. And then you have Martinelli up front. You kind of have leaders all the way through you create kind of a spine, and they're all similar age.
Yeah, so to build a club around. And another thing that Supreme points out is Tuchel knows how to get the best out of Alba. Because I've completely forgotten until then. Aubameyang came from.
How to get the best out of what's that?
Tuchel knows how to get the best out of Aubameyang, because Aubameyang obviously was signed from Dortmund, which I completely forgot about until he mentioned it.
Yeah, hell, bring Mkhitaryan back, get the band back together.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh Christ! Enric Mkhitaryan. Oh no! Let's not go back there. That was that whole
exactly.
saga was interesting.
I was in a good mood.
In a good mood. Asked about Arsenal. Now I'm not got a Merry Christmas cheer. How long is Chilwell out for? I have absolutely no idea.
Supposedly
definitely the next 2 weeks.
3 weeks, right? At minimum. Yeah.
Oh, minimum.
I think so.
He's already gone down once, and I haven't transferred him out because I've got a decent bit of price invested in him. So I think I might just try and stick with him for now. I could take the 0.1 hit because I got him in at 5.5. He was 6.2. Now 6.1. But I want to try and keep hold of him really.
Yeah, he'll miss the next 3 game weeks, which is proposed because you got Boxing Day, then the 28th, and then the 3rd of January, so he won't be available for any of those 3 games. And then Chelsea have the blank in 18, so he'll probably be back on the 15th away to Fulham.
I think it's a similar situation to Reece James, although Reece James can be more in the dark, but it really sucks. I think you have to move on, and it's very likely that either one of them or both of them pop up in the double, and you'll just be really annoyed that you could have had them for the double, but you really can't sit on those guys for 3 weeks. You're going to hide them on your bench, It doesn't seem to make sense. Because I'm a Reece James owner, and I really don't want to sell the guy, but I think it's just going to, because I saw him at wildcard, I think I just have to wildcard him out because it just makes no sense to bury a 5.3 million defender on your bench for 3 weeks,
Yeah. Yes.
I think James is somebody you can hold another week here and see, but I think you have to move Chilwell on because he's gone for several weeks. But if they are going to manage Reece James and he doesn't need surgery, maybe he does play a little bit. But he had finally become nailed on where it's like, hey, maybe he's going to get rotated once in a while. Everybody is, though. Like, your players are going to get rested now and then. But it was much less of this thing where we thought Azpilicueta would play a ton. But now it's like, well, now we really don't know when his knee could flare up at any moment. You're like, oh, shoot, now he's out again. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
do you have any Chelsea players? Sorry. Do you have any Chelsea
do
players?
I?
Yeah.
I have Chilwell, and that's completely it. So I've got no other Chelsea cover, which I'm quite pleased about. And as much as I do want to sort of get someone in, I'm looking at defenders I've got around him: Ayling, Fofana, Cresswell, and Lewis. Although I don't like doing it, I'm sort of tempted to try and keep the value that I've got in him and just sit him on the bench because he may not go down too much more. Hopefully, if Dortmund.
This is something. I make a ton of mistakes with this. Granted, Ray might say this, but one of the ways to keep your value, I know the seller's fees are awful in FPL, but you actually need to take the profits sometimes if you really want to build the team value. Because you can have the team value, but so I don't know. Did you get him for 5.5? Did you get him at the start?
Yeah, 5.5 right at the start.
Oh yeah. So like if you sold him now at 6.2 or 6.3, whatever. What is he now?
He was 6.2. He's gone down to 6.1.
Okay, so even at the 6.2 to 6.1 didn't hurt you, right? So you
No.
can still make 300K off of him. And if he drops like 2 more times, you'll only have to pay another 100K.
Yeah.
To get him back.
Which
you
he
know,
will as
and
well.
if he could drop all the way, and he could stay hurt. And here's the other thing that I'm kind of thinking about Chelsea now is, I'm not sure I want a Chelsea center back if they're gonna have Azpilicueta on the right, and if they're gonna have either Emerson or God forbid Alonso on the left.
Oh God.
That's a problem, and they still don't have Ziyech out. I think you can go without Chelsea all of a sudden for several weeks here and just see what happens.
Or at least definitely
Because I
Chelsea
think they
defense.
could really struggle. They already struggle up front a little bit without Ziyech.
Yeah.
Kurt, Nuclear Atoms is trying to get in.
The problem is that because I don't think people can get in, but I think when you join, you're immediately sent to the welcome thing. So you've just got to. So it says I don't have permission to chat. It's just literally a place to see who's joined. If you scroll down on the left-hand side, you should be able to see different channels.
Yeah,
I think it's called.
All the way to the bottom. Yeah. So under voice
bottom.
channel is general, and
Yeah.
then when you click on it, you'll see us.
Make it a party. Socially distanced party, of course.
Exactly.
Just to point that out to YouTube. Socially distanced, alright? None of this. Yes, it is a big problem. And I do get what you mean about building value, but the problem is that I don't think... How much money have I got in the bank at the moment?
I was about to ask you.
I've got 0.3, so even if I got him out and he stayed at 6.1, I could afford to get him back in. It's just I know I want to get Chilwell straight back in because I think he's a brilliant player to have. 2 goals, 3 assists. I think clean sheets will come more. You look at the fixtures once we hit game week 19, and there are a few really good-looking fixtures where you'd expect them to get clean sheets, and you think there's definitely attacking returns to be had.
Well, I agree, but the thing is, in the next 3, I'm pretty much 90% certain he won't be available. So I think people will sell him off anyway. So his value will come down. So I think by the time double game week 19 props on, we're looking at 3 weeks from now on the 15th. I think he'll be available. And at that point, I think you'll be able to purchase this for maybe 5.7.
And again, if he doesn't have Reece James on the other side, I'm not sure I want that defense as badly.
Yeah,
like
because
if you're certain of clean sheets, we love Chilwell when you're really certain of the clean sheets. I guess you still love him because you get attacking returns, but
brilliant.
It's kind of the same thing with Trent and Robbo, right? You want to know that you're going to be getting that high likelihood of clean sheets like you do with City, Chelsea, Liverpool, the big 6 clubs. If you're not getting that and you're betting on the attacking, you're banking on the attacking returns for a guy who's over 6 million, that's tough. Because then he becomes kind of an expensive Stuart Dallas.
Oh, Christ.
Which is unfair to the Chelsea defense, but I think Azpilicueta could really start to. I saw this with City's defense last year, right? And people were starting to think it was because they lost Laporte. I think they have a problem with Rodri, and I think it's causing problems. It's a chain reaction up the pitch and back the pitch and behind. So it's causing problems at the back because Rodri is not Fernandinho. He can't do the work of 2 like Fernandinho did. And I think like if you lose a right back like Reece James, who can just a lot of times he does bomb forward and he doesn't track back, but the physicality and the ability to win tackles and his pace, Azpilicueta doesn't have any anymore. And to have that, I guess he never really did have it to the level of Reece James, but he certainly has less of that now. And I think you could really see a problem for them keeping clean sheets again, because it's gonna funnel back to the rest of the team, and suddenly those center backs will be under pressure where we didn't think they otherwise would be. It's I'm here we are just like sitting here trying to convince you to sell, but like like Ray said, that he's going to get sold anyway. You're not going to get anything out of him right now. I think you want to unload and just reassess, right? Because like we might very well be wrong, and you might want him back, but you're going to get time to figure that out, and you're going to get time to see whether Reece James is going to be able to stay fit, like if his knee is going to manage without surgery. And if that's the case, if you know you're getting that Chelsea back line that you thought you had before, then you're like, yeah, get him back. And you might get him back for 5'9", 5'8". But you pocketed 300K at the same time, right? So you've pretty much come out even.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've just looked. He's got 21,000 people transferring him in this week, which is interesting. But he's just hit over 500,000 people selling him. So I'm going to assume he's dropping again tonight. So I'm half tempted now to make a transfer, but I have no idea who I'd bring in. I haven't even considered it. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, who knows what FPL Towers will do with prices too, right? They love the regular.
They might even put him up one, thinking, he's had 20k transfers in, just stick him up a price, why not?
Well, if anyone would be the evil Sith Lord of FPL.
Like they did with De Bruyne when he was like on -19. They're just like, yeah, hi, 11.6 now. They did that one night. They've really been jerks with the prices this season. Really irritating. I remember hearing a guy talk about this, like, if you're a gamer, like one of the principal tenets of game design, right, is like that you have sort of transparent and clear structure with like objectives and rewards. You don't hide the what the objectives are and the way that you achieve things. They do with the prices, they do the exact opposite. In IPL, it's like this cloak and dagger, very, very secretive formula that we won't tell you about. And good luck dealing with it and managing it.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I am intrigued by, as I may have said before, people should have Spurs players, is some Spurs Defenders. Dyer's the easy one, and I can get a bit of more money to put elsewhere. I'm quite intrigued by Reguilon, but it all depends on, is he definitely first choice ahead of Ben Davies? Will he get rotated during the game weeks? I know Doherty and Aurier Aurier's been more playing recently, but I'm sure there'll be a time where Doherty comes in. So
Ray, I have a theory on this. How about you, Ray? I know I've talked a lot.
To answer Kurt's question, I definitely think there will be some rotation just based on the isolation of the games, Kurt. So, they got Wolves next, then they got Fulham, and then Leeds, and then they got the semi-final against Brentford, and then of course we got the FA Cup on the 10th as well. So there's a massive isolation of 5-6 games in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I think Reguilon, I like the move, but as long as you have cover for him, just in case he doesn't play, you have a half decent cover. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it really. If anything, I think Dyer might be more certain to choose.
Yes.
Maybe Dyer, because centre half is not as physically demanding as a fullback, and Dyer's probably been their best centre half this season, or definitely very close with Alderweireld. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are. If you were going for a Tottenham defender,
I agree.
I'm intrigued by Eric Dyer. The problem is that I look and he's played every game barring one, no goals, no assists, 5 clean sheets, which is fair enough. 43 points. I'm looking at Reguilon. He's played 1,170 minutes. I'm looking at Reguilon and 817 minutes. He's 6 points behind him, 2 assists, 4 clean sheets. Didn't play in the 1-0 away win, I think, against Burnley.
That's the issue right there, I think.
Yeah, he'll haul more. He'll haul more, but I don't think he'll get as many minutes as Dyer. So it's like catch-22.
Do you want attacking returns, Kurt, or are you just like happy to try to get exposure to the clean sheets? And you're just like, I want a guy who's nailed.
It's the sort of thing
depends how you wake up.
Yeah,
right.
The clean sheets are the safest thing. But if someone says, "What happens if I could give you clean sheets and attacking returns?" I'm like, hold on, my ears just perked up. Tell me more about that, and also attacking returns part. And that's the problem. I'll look at Dyer and think he's a nice, safe option. He'll play most, if not all the time, and he'll get some clean sheets. But Reguilon could play, and he gets forward, and all of a sudden it's like, well. it's an easy choice, and then it's sort of the battling between the angel and the devil.
Here's my theory. So this could make it clear, or it could make it a real mess. I think, and you mentioned it with Region, that he didn't play in the Burnley match. I think the problem with Region could be that in the matches where you feel like you've got a bankable clean sheet, he's going to be less likely to play. It could be the other way with him, actually. Region, it could be, well, we feel like we can bomb forward against teams, and this is something we'll have to look into, right? Perhaps we'll have to keep an eye on this with Spurs and their defense. I think sometimes Region plays when they feel like they need the pace, but sometimes Mourinho wants to be safe, and he goes with Ben Davis. But on the right-hand side, I'm actually really interested in Aurier. For one, he's only 5'2". I think he's become nailed. Now, he made the error on the penalty against Leicester, but I think he's become more nailed on. And I think, actually, Mourinho really can't use Doherty in the tougher fixtures. And I think he still prefers... I think there's a much wider gap between Aurier and Doherty. Doherty is bad. I think he's actually bad. And he's a problem. And they'll only play him if they really need to rest Aurier. And I feel like Aurier can get you attacking returns like Region. He's cheaper, and he's more likely to play match after match. I think he's just quietly played a lot of minutes lately. And I think he's potentially more interesting. Whereas Region, I could see him being rested because they feel like they want to hang back and not have guys bomb forward. I feel like he could also be the guy that is actually saved for the tougher matches because he has more pace than Ben Davis. And so all of a sudden you find yourself, you're like, oh, I've got this great opportunity for a clean sheet against a Burnley or a Sheffield United where they know they can't get hurt in behind. And Mourinho's like, oh, great time to rest Region because I don't need his pace, so I can run Ben Davis out there. And you're screwed. So I feel like Dyer's probably the best option. And if you want to get cheeky, don't spend an extra $500,000 on Region and just go with Aurier.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because I think at any point, and that's the problem with FPL, well, problem with football in general. I think any point they could play. I think Aurier, he looks nailed. I mean, in recent fixtures, he's been preferred. Having looked at Reguilon, I'm intrigued that he was signed later. So he wasn't around for the first two games. He didn't play in the first game. He could have played in, I think it's 3, or he's on the game for game week 3, but he might not have joined in time. So the deal might not have gone through. Apart from that, he's missed the Burnley away 1-0 win, and he didn't play Liverpool away. But he's played and started everything else. Come off the bench once, been subbed off once against Palace, and I think they were trying to go for the win there. And the problem is also that Aurier's cheaper as well.
I think Mourinho really trusts Dyer. So you talk about just playing every game. I think that's a positive sign. Like you look at that and you're like, oh, maybe he gets rested. But like Ray said, center half, you don't need to rest these guys as much. I think Mourinho wants Dyer on the pitch whenever he can have him out there. I think he's still a goal threat. He's missed a couple probably sitters, frankly. When I owned him earlier this season, Dyer missed a header he probably should have scored. Taken a couple direct free kicks and they've gone close. He's kind of a cheeky punt on some attacking returns too, depending on the game, depending on the match. But I think Mourinho trusts Ben Davis much more than he trusts Matt Doherty. And ironically, we've talked about how, like Aurier red card waiting to happen, mistake waiting to happen. But actually, they've really changed Aurier's role and they've simplified it for him. And they've basically just told him, stay on your feet, I think, for the most part, besides that tackle against Leicester. He really hasn't made a lot of mistakes, and he's got a lot of help from Sissoko. So he doesn't bomb forward as much as he did last year. I don't think he's that kind of threat where they had this like inverted right back where it's like basically Aurier was a right winger and Ben Davis just sat back for him. But he's certainly a threat attacking wise if you want some attacking returns in it. So I would rank them Dyer, Aurier, oddly enough. If they were the same price, I would say Region, but Dyer, Aurier, Region, and then who cares? I guess Davis, maybe probably Toby if you just want nailed. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Guys, I'm gonna Kurt, Derek, I'm gonna get off the chat. I'll be back on the word. I'll be back on the chat itself. Yeah. So Kurt, great to talk to you.
Oh,
Derek,
cheers, Ray.
Chat soon.
Cheers, Ray.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a tough one. And the other thing is that I'm looking at 5.8. Basically, a direct swap would be Diaz. And it's like, oh, do I go Man City? Man City, can they go? Or have they got fixtures to sustain me? And also, I'm looking at Man City fixtures and thinking, well, I mean, it's just green everywhere, really, apart from Chelsea. And Chelsea without the two missing fullbacks could also be deemed as a green. It's a tough one.
I mean, City probably have the best run of fixtures. You looking like, if you need a defender right now, I feel silly saying this, but if you look for just the next four, do you have a wild card? You probably don't have a wild card.
No, but the wild card comes back into effect in the new year, so.
Yeah, well, I don't think you want to burn your second right away. I mean, if you're willing to, sure, but
no,
yeah, I guess either.
First up.
Sure. Are you gonna free hit in 18?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna free hit and then either bench boost or triple captain, something like that.
Here's one of the things I'm looking at doing is, I don't know how you guys feel about Arsenal's defense, but they probably have the 4 best defensive fixtures going here, including 19, to the point where I think that I'm going to potentially try and save my free hit and just go with 7 in 18. And part of the reason for that is just some of the players that I see that have really good fixtures coming. If I build I still have my wild card, and if I wild carded a team full of doublers, I'm going to kind of hate my team for 2-3 weeks into the bench boost. And what I'm thinking is, I think somebody like Gabriel, and even, Ray's going to kill me, but I'm getting the sense that Maitland-Niles might be kind of close to nailed, and he's down to 4.6 from 5 million originally. And if you look at those fixtures, if you have bench cover for these guys, I think you have to take a stab at this. And I would be very happy to run with one of the Arsenal defenders in Gameweek 19 instead of some of the doublers. I see Ray in the chat. But I think that, and of course, if you're looking for a defender now, if you're somebody who has to get rid of a Chilwell, has to get rid of Reece James, look at those fixtures in 15, 16, 17, 18, or 16, 17, 18 rather. And yeah, I said even Chelsea doesn't look so bad perhaps this week. But Brighton, West Brom, Palace, and then Newcastle in 19, come on. So if you just need somebody for 4 weeks, especially if you think you're going to get Chilwell back, so maybe you go Gabriel for 3 weeks. You might get 2 clean sheets, then you can go back to Chilwell.
Annoyingly, now that you've said it, I'm looking at, because I've been trying to sort of like a video description when you've been talking. Like you said Arsenal, so I went to Arsenal, looked at their fixtures. God, it looks too good. It's sort of thing is like, it looks good, but full well with Arsenal, you'll look back through these fixtures, look back at the points you got from the Arsenal defenders, and I think you'll look at it thinking, oh, it's too good to be true. But I'm looking at it, and it's probably now they've gone to the forefront of my attention.
Right. Right.
Oh no, not only was I not going to transfer Chilwell out before you got here, I'm now getting an Arsenal defender in. I feel like you're trying to sabotage. Oh Christ.
You're right. No, I can't possibly catch any of you with my rank right now. So that's another thing. My rank's terrible. Probably don't want to listen to me. About 2.6.
Oh blimey.
So it was 3.7, 3.6 a little while ago. So I like refuse to get Salah and Bruno. I play like a jerk. I hate these guys. I hate some of these guys, so I just get tired of them. I'm a Liverpool fan. I can't stand Salah. So, and I love Mane, and so you know how I feel right now. It's like Mane, please score once in a while. Right, I'll call you. Come on, do it, Ray. Get back in here. Bring it on. Come at me, bro. No Arsenal defense. See, I think he's wrong, because I think Maitland-Niles might have just supplanted Bellerin, and I think the defense gets better when Maitland-Niles is in there. And I think, and just again, who cares? They're playing teams that can't score, and I think they have a chance to. Again, don't run out there and like, oh my God, I'm going to bet my life on the Arsenal defense for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But if you need a defender who's going to play, and particularly if you're somebody that needs somebody for 18, I think that's where you could really see some gains.
It's too late. I've already gone triple Arsenal defence and submitted it.
Nice.
But no, it's definitely. I mean, I'm going to have to make my transfer, but I'll probably have to think about it, because in history, making transfers on streams, I've never done well. I don't think anyone else has done well. but it's tempting. It is really tempting with the Arsenal lot. And even if I do bottle it this week, I'm looking at sort of the players I've got on my round. I've got Ayling at home against Burnley, Fofana at home to Man United, Cresswell at home to Brighton. So I've got defenders that can play. Oh, it's tempting though. It is so tempting. Nuclear Atom says, why not go Zuma this week, as he will have a double. It's not a bad shout. The only problem is that if Chelsea are missing Reece James and Chilwell, that's half of their first team defence gone. And then Azpilicueta will come in, and as Derek rightly pointed out, you've got the the left wing back extraordinaire, Marcus Alonso, also probably coming in.
Yeah, that's the one thing where I could see them doing fine with it if they decide to play a back three and play wing backs. But I don't know who plays right wing back for them. Alonso could definitely play left. I think they're actually deeper at center back. I would trust somebody like Tomori coming into that side more than I would Alonso or Emerson. And I feel like you've missed the Zuma train. Part of it is probably because I've missed the Zuma train, so emotionally I hope that I'm right, that I don't have to put up with any more pain of my mini league getting goal after goal from Kurt Zuma. But you could see this with kind of Southampton defenders, Chelsea defenders. You've probably missed a lot of the points, not all of them certainly, but these guys I can't believe how much their prices have gone up. Vestergaard, Zuma, Chilwell's prices would certainly soar. I mean, Chilwell makes a lot more sense because the guy's steaming into the box like a left winger, burying back post tap-ins. But I think if you look back, look at when Southampton and Chelsea were getting their clean sheets. Go back and look at the fixture run they had. It makes total sense now. And so, do you want to obsess with the fixtures? I think Ray's got a point there this year. We've talked a lot about it in our pod about it just seems like you can't overly plan on the fixtures, but when you look back, usually it does have some pretty good explanatory power and kind of some of the things that have happened. It's like, oh, Chelsea had a pretty good run there defensively. They went through Burnley, West Brom, Sheffield United. It's like, well, that's why. Of course, West Brom they conceded 3, but if you look back, who was in their back 4 or back 5 at the time? I mean, it's still kind of out of sorts. So, and I think Count still keeper for that one. So.
Yeah, I do agree with your points. I mean, the price rises have been a bit bonkers. I think if Vestergaard was smaller, I don't think he'd be transferred in as much. The problem is that the bloke's about 7 foot tall. So when a corner comes in, all you've got to do is aim for the lighthouse and he'll hit it in. 3 goals.
The ball almost finds his head, right? It's like flies to a light. You're right. It is amazing. He looks like he's going to score in every set piece. So that is impressive. But like with any defender, I don't think you want to just sit there and, like you said, especially it is now that Vestergaard's 5 million. When Vestergaard's 4.5 million, I say forget the fixtures, right? But I like to look at fixtures, especially for defense. I think like Ray is absolutely right. I don't think you should make your transfers based on your attacking transfers necessarily based too much on fixtures. But I think with defense, you got to look at it. So like, where did Southampton's kind of run of clean sheets come? I mean, granted, some of these Vestergaard points are goals, but Everton, Villa, Newcastle, they didn't clean sheet. They didn't get a clean against Wolves. Then they had United. Then they had Brighton, Sheffield United, Arsenal, and they did not get the clean sheet against Arsenal. I think was that a Pepe penalty? So they almost did. But and then Man City, paradoxically, very uncharacteristically sat off of them. So Chelsea, their clean sheets were their little run. Man United in a real cagey, sort of derby there. I guess not really too much of a derby, but not a derby at all. Anyway, Burnley, Sheffield United, Newcastle, Spurs. To their credit, held leads to 1 goal. But yeah, their clean sheets were Burnley, Sheffield United, Newcastle, and Spurs in a run there. Actually, Sheffield United, no, they didn't even manage that one. And then they concede to Everton, concede to Wolves, and come back with 1 against West Ham. So
yeah, it's
certainly they have another one possibly here with Arsenal. Certainly with Arsenal's issues scoring, you can see that. It's like, is this the time to to scheme into the Chelsea defense? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, interesting enough, just to sort of keep on Chilwell for a bit longer, he's still the most owned defender, with the second most owned being Zuma, which I think is mad to think that. And Chilwell's ownership, 29.5. So that's the most owned defender, and he won't be usable for a few weeks. Zuma then potentially might take a hit on his points because of that. The third most owned defender going down is James Justin, which I think is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely bonkers that this season is happening the way it is. Number 4 is Robertson, 5 Vestergaard, who could be out, 6 James, who is out. It's mad.
I think I really screwed up. I really screwed up on James Justin. I got him wrong. Certainly Pereira's been out longer than we thought, but I think Leicester are a really interesting defense because you could easily see a back four with Ricardo Pereira, Soyuncu, Fofana. I think Evans might come out of that team, and you'll have Castagne and James Justin kind of fighting it out potentially at left back. And that's one of the top 3 or 4 back fours in the league, in my view. Maybe top 2. And I think that their fixtures aren't the greatest once those guys are all fit, potentially. But they actually have a nice little run right now. And I think the Liverpool defense, like I see it a lot in the chat, which is behind our conversation, obviously, so it's kind of catching up in my mind to us. But a lot of people ask about Matip. I think Matip is nailed to play when he can play and when they feel like he can go and it's safe for him and he's not going to get too many minutes. But the nice thing about it is I don't think it's Matip so much that's key to that. I think as long as they have Trent and Robbo, and as long as one of Matip and Fabinho is in there, I think Reece Williams isn't bad. When you see Nat Phillips in the team sheet, that's kind of when you panic.
Yeah.
And I think so long as they can't lose any more midfielders. Like if they get Thiago back, I think that makes their center back problems a lot less of an issue. Because Henderson could slot back in there too, and Keita really helps them with the forward press. When they're healthy up front and they can press forward and they can choke off the game, it takes so much pressure off their back line. So I think Liverpool are a huge shout, especially you missed the Palace one obviously already, but you've got still have West Brom, Newcastle, and you have Southampton without Danny Ings. Then you've got United. That one could easily be super cagey. And then you've got Burnley as part of the double, right? So I mean, you absolutely just say, hey, look, I'll roll into that double. Maybe they concede against United, but I'll definitely take a bet on the Liverpool guy versus Burnley. Spurs, you never know with Mourinho. West Ham, Brighton. So until they don't play City and Leicester until game week 23 and 24. So this could be Liverpool's defensive run if they do that again. And then I think West Ham's the other one right now with their fixtures where it's like, yeah, their defense could do well. Issue with West Ham is now that Masuaku's not fit, they can't play that back five. I'm not sure. I think they're a little more open when they don't have a five. When they play a four, they can struggle.
Yeah, and the mad thing is that I don't think West Ham were poor at the start, but they played a four, and even then, I've got quite a few West Ham friends for my sins. Right at the start, they were really, really poor. But you look at the chances they had against Newcastle, that could have gone differently. The chance they had against Arsenal, that could have gone differently. And that five at the back with Masuaku bombing forward and basically basically Cresswell playing a sort of like a centralised left back effectively. So Masuaku can basically do the Orient role and just bomb forward, do what he wants. Just don't bother about defending, and Chilwell will come across and cover. That's all right. What has surprised me though with that is that I'm pretty sure Kufal in his past has played as left wing back or as a left back. So I'm surprised they haven't, with especially Fredericks and Johnson on the bench constantly, tried to keep it going, because I don't think they are as good with the four at the back. I still think they're alright with the four at the back, but I mean, once Masuaku gets back, I think Chilwell becomes a really good option. Maybe even Masuaku as well.
You mean Cresswell?
Cresswell, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
But even then, look at the fixtures, I still think they'll struggle, but West Ham's fixtures, they look good.
I think it's one where you just happily, because of that double, you just have to go for it, right? And I think they could certainly do well. Cresswell, I think, is actually, it's a strange dynamic because I think actually Cresswell is kind of the one that they have to protect so that they can allow him to get forward and kind of use that magic foot because he doesn't have the pace to stay home and defend one-on-one. I think the problem they have in a 4 is they can't really play. Cresswell is not great as a fullback in terms of one-on-ones and getting caught.
Yeah.
If they're going to be up against a United, somebody like that, I think we saw that. We saw that in that second half when United brought on Rashford, and particularly that game. I'm a biased and angry, bitter Rashford captain. Went great for me 2 weeks ago, and then this past week, I'm very bitter because every time Rashford shows up through the middle, whether it's part of a 2 as a part of a pair with Martial, or because Martial didn't come on, I don't think in that West Ham match, so it was Rashford through the middle, and it's just Fernandes pinging balls over the top to Rashford, and West Ham could not handle it. So if you run up against a team like I would be worried against Leicester, I'd be worried against Vardy, I'd be worried against Leeds with West Ham's defense, I'd be worried against anybody that tries to come at them and go direct. We're all worried against Heung-min Son. But yeah, if they have good defensive fixtures, right, like you said, go for it. And that's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about that. Why don't they try to stay with the 5 and keep stick Soufal at wing back and try to bring in one of, at least Fredericks has the pace. So maybe they will try that because I think Fredericks wasn't fit for a little bit here. So I think he is fit now, and maybe we'll see that because I think Balbuena wasn't quite fit either. So they might have been just trying to piece the defense together. Maybe they have enough center backs now and they have Fredericks. Maybe they can try that to go back to the same system, just ex Masuaku, right? So we'll see that.
Yeah, but there's plenty of options, and as per usual, I will probably not make any of them forget. Fall asleep tonight, wake up, C's gone down 0.1 million, and think, oh, rats, then be 0.1 million away from a transfer that I desperately want. But yeah. it is mad that I'm still sitting here thinking, just can't stop thinking about Arsenal defenders. And I know now Ray's going to come in and give me a slap across the interwebs, but goodness me, I can't stop thinking about it. The fixtures just look too good. And I've always said that's the reason I had Zaha in my team, despite the fact I've got a passionate dislike for Palace. It's just when something that shiny comes about, you can't really say no.
Right. The one I think if you want to if you feel too guilty trying that, the counterpoint, to make Ray feel a little better, breathe a little easier, I think would probably be the City Defenders. Because like we talked about earlier, they come out of this. It's not the greatest little couple of weeks here, but if you went for a John Stones or a Ruben Dias for Chilwell, you could very easily just be very happy with that. When let's say Chilwell gets fit for 19, and you're just like, I'll just leave it. Would you really sell Ruben Dias in Gameweek 19 for somebody with a double when Dias has Palace at home? I would much, right? We talk about this a lot with bench boost, right? It's like don't obsess over getting 15 doublers because you probably have some players there that you are higher on for 1 week than you are guys for 2 weeks, right? So I think the City Defenders are probably the best bet. The Arsenal ones are most interesting if you need somebody now, I think, and into and through 19, where you just want to say, hey, okay, here's a guy I can just run from like 16 to 19 and be fine with it potentially. I think City is the safer bet for some if you really don't want to feel like you're risking baking in transfer, because I think you could easily sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna go Chilwell to Dias. Okay, I got to sit through Everton and Chelsea maybe, but I could, like you said, we could see clean sheets there, especially if they still have fitness issues with Ziyech and Pulisic. You could easily see a City clean sheet. It is at Stamford Bridge, but Newcastle, Everton, Chelsea, Brighton, Palace, West Brom, Sheffield United, Burnley, up through February 2nd. I think you have to have a City defender.
Yeah.
I hate to say have to, but I think that might be an easy transfer for you. And if it's not going well, or if you just keep getting rotation, or one of your City defender, if your City defender gets injured, maybe Chilwell gets fit by then. Boom, go back.
Exactly. That's the hope. That's the hope. I don't want to be without Chilwell too much. I miss him. He's far too good.
Yeah.
That is a potential. I believe
Brilliant,
I've just seen a Glenn join.
What's that? What's that? Oh, I lost you there.
I believe we have a Glenn in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Glenn.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, we
thank
can.
goodness. A bit of an echo. Let me
there
just
is.
check.
There is.
How about now?
Let's test it.
Good.
I think it's better.
I still hear I still hear an echo, but yeah, we do hear you. We do hear you.
Oh yeah, so it's still.
Awesome, man. I was trying to figure it out, man. Hi, guys. I got Rebel FPL Ray.
Oh, good to have you. around.
Ray's not in the voice.
He's not?
This is Derek.
Oh.
Yep, Derek. Yep.
We scared him off. We started saying we were going to talk. We started saying we were getting Arsenal defenders in, and he ran away.
Yeah. I can't blame. I can't blame him. As an Arsenal fan, you can't just get anything right. Literally, like even joining Discord as an Arsenal fan becomes so hard. Nothing works out for an Arsenal fan.
Oh, it'll get better though once you sack Arteta.
You're an Arsenal expert. Do you think Ainsley Maitland-Niles has supplanted Bellerin?
You know what? People always say Niles is better than Bellerin. Defensively, probably, but you know what? I actually don't think he's that much better of a player anyway. I think they're kind of on the same level. Same case with Pepe and Willian. I think they're both on the same level. So as of now, he's definitely better than him because he can actually make a good throw in. He can actually take a good throw in, and defensively is okay. Crossing wise, going forward, I still think Bellerin is okay. But as an Arsenal fan, again, you just look at the one who's not going to make too many mistakes, and that is Bellerin. That is Niles, sorry, not Bellerin. Bellerin is the one who's going to make more mistakes than Niles. So as of now, Niles is better.
Do you think Arteta agrees with that? And you think he'll start him more? We're holding you to this. Bench
No,
boosts
I
are
think-
hanging the balance.
You know which country Arteta is from?
What's that?
You know which country Arteta is from?
He's a Spaniard, I thought.
Yeah, and you know where Bellerin is from?
Yeah.
There is your answer. There is the answer. Bellerin will play,
Okay.
definitely. Bellerin will play. I think he will play, obviously.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm happy to come here for some help because in the last 4 weeks since Kat totally slated me for owning Jamal Lewis of Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, I've literally dropped off from, is it 80k or something, to like 2 million, like the last 3 game weeks. That was painful, and that is probably because I captained Aubameyang for one of the weeks, but for the others I captained Son and Kane, and they didn't deliver, and I've dropped so far back, man. It's so painful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really one to talk. I've got a couple of stinking things wrong. I think we're still getting a bit of an echo. By the sound of things.
Let me check. Is there any way you can like change the settings?
I don't know. Are we coming out of a loudspeaker?
Let me just try.
Have you got any headphones that may?
You can still hear me?
Yes. Oh, I think the echo might have gone.
I don't think there's an echo now, but it's kind of.
Let me try me here. There we go, Glenn. I think you got your headphones in now. I think we're good because I'm not hearing myself back. So I know I was a glaring example of it. Sounds like we might be good.
Some settings because like on StreamYard, like if you're using StreamYard, there's a place you need to check your settings. So I'm trying to figure out if Discord has that.
Yeah, Zoom my settings a lot too. And now I hear the echo again.
Yeah, that's just because I've plugged in back the headphones. I think I'm good now.
Let's try. Yeah, I think you're good.
Oh, there we go. All the fun of my streams. You don't get the full throttle concentration phase, getting everything right with J and O. You get the bumbling idiot in me. Getting everything wrong. But yeah, I'd love to say I'm here to help with people with their mistakes, but I can't really say. Oh, you know what? Let me know what your mistakes are, what you need help with, and I'll help you. Because I last minute moved my captain's armband from Fernandez to Kane and lost 15 points because of it. So I'm not one to comment.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal.
And that's one that has killed a rank this week. I think my Gameweek rank would have been alright without it. My Gameweek rank was just under 4 million.
You want to look at the bright side for a player like me who hates owning players like Salah and Fernandez sometimes because I just hate the template and I'm nuts. I still managed 62 points with a Rashford captain blank. So you know nobody's essential, and you just have to. What's really gutting for me is I nailed that I should be in the United Leeds fixture with my captaincy, and of course I just felt like, hey, even if Fernandez outscores Rashford and Martial, and of course I had Martial too. That's part of why I did pretty well, but obviously got the wrong one of those two on who might return. But yeah, that's what's gutting for me is I felt like how did United score 6 goals without Rashford or Martial being invited to the party, really, besides Martial's assists. So there's so much luck involved. You can pick good players that are not the ones that FPL Twitter is screaming about all the time, and still do really well. For instance, obviously everyone is on Salah right now. You probably should be fine. Look, he probably does score a goal or two against West Brom, and he's probably almost certainly the best captaincy shot in game week 19. But Mane looks like he could go in another one of his runs right now. And I mean, even Firmino was probably the most clinical guy in the pitch in any match this past week, which I wouldn't go Firmino right now in terms of captaincy for the double and all that. But every December, Firmino does this. And every year, Mane manages to, I mean, people don't realize this. I think I'm gonna pull this up. I'll shut up for a second, but this will crack you up. You would think that the numbers between Mane and Salah are like Salah, 30 goals and Mane 10. But I'm gonna pull something up about this, and it'll crack you up. So I'll shut up for a second, but I gotta pull up these stats.
I'm intrigued now. I'm really intrigued as to what these numbers are, and scared, I think,
Just-
as well.
Just simple FPL points. So let's see. You go ahead. I'm gonna come back to this, so we'll cover something. You guys go ahead and cover something else because I'm gonna need a second to. I never use the desktop FPL site because I think it's terrible. I think the phone app is much better. So I'm just
I
gonna
always
be a
use
minute.
it because my phone is pants and it'll just shut itself off whenever it fancies it.
Okay, actually, here I'm ready. So in the 2018-2019 season, 1920, right? Mohamed Salah had 19 goals and 10 assists for 233 FPL points. He did that in 2,879 minutes played. What do you think Mane had on any of those?
Probably lower.
Probably what?
Probably lower.
Yeah, right. So 19 and 10 for Salah. Mane, 18 and 10. Only 12 points behind Salah, 221. What did I say, Salah, 233? Yep, only 12 points behind him. And it was in 2,745 minutes. So he played 130 less minutes, roughly. And he got 1 less goal and 12 less points. So probably, just some bonus. I didn't double check that. So, and like this guy mentions here in the chat, Salah obviously on penalties looked totally, for a 1 game. And I think that's why you see that usually the general freak out. Probably, yeah, I would go Salah over Mane, but there's nothing wrong with going Mane. Because if you think about it, it's betting on a penalty happening is almost kind of as strange as betting. It's a tough bet, penalty's going to bail me out. You don't want to bet on a team winning a penalty. It makes sense to bet on, well, I've got one guy that's going to take the penalty if it happens versus a guy that doesn't. It's like, well, then yeah, take Salah. But if you feel like, well, I can't afford Salah, or I want a differential and I want to catch up, Mane is totally a great option because he's just as likely to score from open play in my view, and he's probably, on a relative basis, has gotten more likely now that Trent is back. Like, actually, if you want to play a game with Liverpool, is if you have Salah, you probably should get Robbo, and if you have Trent, you probably should get Mane because of the cross.
Yeah.
If you want to catch the goal and the assist from those guys.
I
that's
agree
probably
with
true.
you, Derek.
Mane, sorry, just real quick in the chat, I see somebody saying Mane would get more yellow cards. That's probably true as well because Mane has more defensive responsibilities and he's more of a presser of the ball. So that's true. And yeah, so in general, look, Salah is the odds choice, the percentage choice, but FPL Twitter makes you feel like you're an idiot or you're a nutcase if you don't go with Mane or Salah, Fernandez every week, Kane, KDB, right? You can score lots of points without some of these guys. So usually the FPL questions I see are like, how do I fit all four of them in? You don't have to do that. And in fact, you'll blow up your team when you do it, I think.
It's a fair point. Go on, Glenn. What are you going to say?
I was about to say, like, for me, yes, I think man is a good option. I agree with you. But the kind of position I've just put myself in, like dropping in ranking because of not owning Salah and Fernandez the last 4 weeks, I'm being forced to like literally go for Salah and Fernandez immediately before like I drop any further. Like I'm in a position where I cannot try any more clever things right now, like bringing on Aubameyang or Trossard from Brighton. Like if you've picked up points like 70 points the last 3 weeks, you're in a position where you can try things like in this festive period, like a differential or anything like that. But for me right now, dropping like 2 million places in the last 3 weeks, I have to like go for Salah and people like Fernandez and Derek. I've seen the light. I've taken out Aubameyang and I've brought in Salah.
Nice.
Oh.
So I see like Ray talking about this too, and Nuclear Adams. He makes a great point. Certainly, at his current clip, Salah is he's on pace to match or maybe exceed his goal total. I don't see him as that player still. I think it's kind of fluky thus far, and I know I've got an anti-Salah bias, so I could be wrong. But here's the counterpoint to it, which is I think this is recency bias. So this is the thing where if you keep flipping a coin and it keeps turning up heads, you're like, well, it's got to turn up tails soon. And you can argue that might actually be an argument that Salah is going to keep on going one way. But there's just because you keep seeing tails pop up does not mean you're going to get tails again, and it doesn't mean you're going to get heads again. Each time you've got a 50-50 shot. And if you watch Liverpool play, I don't feel like Salah is this incredibly likely to score player. I think a lot of chances just keep falling to him. He's had a lot of penalties so far. And again, I think it might be similar to the Chelsea-Southampton thing where you might have missed it. And right now it feels the worst. Emotionally, it feels the worst it could possibly feel because you just watch him keep on returning, right? Well, it's got to slow down. You know, these guys, they don't score 40 Premier League goals in a season generally. This might be the year it happens. But I said this about Trent at the beginning of the season. I didn't start with him. Now I have him because now I think it's time for the reversion to happen the other way with Trent with a Liverpool double up a little bit where they're going to get a clean sheet or two or more. I think the same thing is going to happen here potentially with some of these big hitting attackers. I thought De Bruyne at the start of the year, it was like, look, every single shot he was hitting last year was going in, and it's because he's a brilliant player. But now people they've gone way overboard in their, like, people I see on Twitter now or on like the Slack channel for one of a podcast we follow, Ray and I follow, where people are saying De Bruyne is a poor finisher. It's like, that's just absurd. Football is difficult. You're gonna go through some cold stretches and you're gonna have some rough runs. I mean, De Bruyne knows how to finish. I mean, that's what you saw last year. That's why he was the top scorer, is because he could finish from 30 yards. He could just bury it. So every single chance he was taking that was kind of a small chance was going in. And now his conversion rate is kind of, it's the pendulum is swung so that he's coming back to the mean a little bit, and even his mean, you know. But yeah, I get it. Just get Salah.
I see what you're saying about Salah and Mane, but I know you've come up with some incredible stats comparing them. But the thing with Salah, that game against Crystal Palace and the game before that, like 2 weeks before that against Brighton, if you don't own Salah and you're watching a Liverpool game, it becomes so hard. You can afford not to own Mane and watch a Liverpool game, but Salah, he comes on for 5 minutes and he has 4 chances against Palace, like so quickly, and it like drops your ranking very badly. So if you're just like watching the game and forgetting about stats, I think it has to be Salah.
Oh, if you want to talk from an emotional perspective, like hide behind the sofa, absolutely. And you know, to your point, at this point, I genuinely think Klopp plays FPL and captain Salah every week because they're up 4-0, and he's like, oh, I got to get Salah on there so that all the Salah owners can get some points. Like, come on. I'm sitting there like, this couldn't have gone better for me. And you know, on trot Salah, and I mean, even Mane's pissed off, right? Because Mane was having a game, and I think Mane probably thought he could get more. So we'll see. It could be really interesting. But you know, I it's so funny the way that the conversation changes, because remember last year, right? Of course, the Mane owners ended up being really lucky, but there was absolutely nowhere near this level of certainty about who. In fact, it was a coin flip debate between who you should triple captain in Liverpool's double last year between Salah and Mane. So it's amazing to see how the conversation shifts. And you know, that right now, that's because, like, you know, to Nuclear Adam's point, Salah is on something like 13 league goals right now, and I think Mane is probably on 4, right? So hey, maybe this year Salah scores 30 and Mane only gets to 10. My guess is that Mane probably ends up somewhere around 15, 18. Maybe he's a little under, maybe falls a little short this year. And Salah, you know, yeah, he's probably going to get 25, 22, something like that. You know, he'll score more than he scored last season, which was 19. So
yeah, I think they'll probably end up similar. I mean, at the end of the day, Liverpool they attack a lot and they will get a lot of chances, and where Salah gets goals, Mane will also pick up some goals. They don't really have a sort of a specialty. Salah cuts in. I think Mane just is quite direct, but I think they'll both end up getting points. So you can take the risk. Obviously, there's always Salah's the safe, Mane's the risk. You've got the you don't want to hide behind your sofa without Salah. At the same time, if it gets to the 60th minute and you have got one of those players and they don't start scoring, it's terrifying. Obviously, watching the Man United Leeds game on Twitch the other day with everyone on the Wildcats, and watching Nim sort of slowly go into madness at looking at Fernandes not getting up any returns was hilarious. So I'm all for not having that. So I don't none of them. Just go for 4.5.
I turned off that game after the third goal. I couldn't watch it. Like, not owning any United players, plus the fact that United were winning, I just turned it off and some La Liga or something, because if you don't own any of those players, I've been really thinking about Fernandes, because I played my free hit that week. Aston Villa and Newcastle didn't play, and I owned Fernandes for just a week, and you can't imagine how incredible it is having him. He came from the bench, but I felt so safe, because it literally doesn't matter even if the ball goes off the pitch, like against West Ham, it will still count as a goal or an assist for Fernandes. So it's such a good thing owning him, man. Such a good thing.
Glenn, I feel BPS stands for Bruno Possessive System, because he just possesses that algorithm with the points.
Yep, you're right.
I bought him in about 4 weeks ago on my wild card, and I've just enjoyed it ever since. I don't think I can go without Bruno in my team. Bruno and Salah seem like the guys I have to have in, week out. I mean, I might even sacrifice KDB. Jesus, I feel like I'm that's a bit of blasphemy, actually. But I actually joined back in for an intervention, Kurt, because I heard some clowns say about taking Arsenal defence, but maybe my mind went a bit crazy.
Oh, for goodness sake.
You're way behind, Ray. You're way behind.
I know. I
Really, Ray?
live, and I just thought that maybe my children were in my ear, but I'm like, no. That's actually two of my co-hosts in different shows.
Oh, no, don't do it to me.
Real quick, Ray. I've talked way too much, but I gotta tell everyone here. I've been so slow to edit our pod, which will come up. Well, you know, shameless plug, but I do need to get our pod edited and get it out here soon, so it'll pop up about 6-7 o'clock for you guys. But the reason I say that is if you watch the YouTube version, we get to see Ray's children make an appearance, and they're adorable. So you get to meet Ray's kids, and you should take a minute to check that out while we banter and rant and rave about Liverpool, Arsenal, and FPL. Come for the cute kids and maybe stay for some of the annoying conversation. All right, I'll back out now. That's all I got.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I might drop the mic in a minute and completely leave everything. But really, Arsenal defense, please elaborate. I think Glenn has probably spat out his drink and muted.
FIFA 20 style rage quit because Derek said get Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
I was just starting to feel better about life until he brought back Arsenal.
Oh, no.
Christmas
Oh,
is tomorrow,
no.
man. Come on, Ray.
Oh, no.
Arsenal
And I'm
defense
out.
is
We
a
got
no.
Ronald
And I'm
by
out.
Reindeer.
Oh, gosh, I feel bad now. Oh.
Is that why you were asking me about Niles and Bellerin, Derek?
That's exactly why
Definitely
I asked, Glenn.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we sort out things quickly, the best one will probably be Tierney because he's going to play every single day. Gabriel is looking kind of okay in attacking like corners and free kicks, but these days himself, I don't know if you've seen it, Ray, watching the Arsenal games, he's picking up yellow cards every single game. He's looking out of position himself too. So Arsenal defense, no. Arsenal midfield, no. Arsenal attacking, no. I've seen the light. I have seen the light. No Arsenal. I still have Bellerin in my team though, Derek, for the record.
So does my wife. So she really loves me for that. Although I don't think I was responsible for that transfer. That was a few weeks ago.
Oh, Christ. But yeah, to go back onto your original point, Ray, as you kindly put it, and I can't blame anyone for saying this because I've said the same thing about people that wanted to transfer out Son and Kane.
Kane or Son.
Yeah. When you said I heard some clowns talking about Arsenal defence, I still can't stop thinking about them, even with you calling me a clown and calling me out in front of everyone. It's just, and the problem is, and it happens to me too much. I'll look at the fixture difficulty rating on the fixtures, and I'll think, oh, there's too much green there for me to ignore. I was exactly the same with Zaha at the start of the season. It's just the green. I like the green. If there's loads of green, I think, oh, surely I'm in for loads of points here.
With Zaha?
Zaha, right at the start of the
That's
season,
so
had a
Arsenal defenders.
run of so many good games.
Yeah, and just quickly, I was thinking about that. I don't have much to say about it, but that was, a lot of talk about chip strategy, game week 18, 19. It's easy to forget about, well, who's got some nice fixtures, and I know we talked about City, but who has some fixtures post 19? I think Palace has one of the nicer runs from like 19 to 24 ish, and so they might be a shout. Obviously, it's tough to pick one. Ray and I were chatting a little bit. We think somebody that could be a punt if you're just really trying to squeeze in somebody who plays that has a decent fixture and isn't too expensive. I think Eze might be a shout at 5.8. I wouldn't anchor your team on him, certainly, but maybe game week 20, you got West Ham, Wolves, Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham from 20 to 26. I would love to take a shot at Eze or certainly, obviously, Zaha for that run.
Yeah, it is intriguing. It is intriguing. But yeah, no,
Unfortunately, you can't have any clever moves anymore.
yeah, that's the thing.
I'm liking him because the last time Kat talked about Crystal Palace having the greens, that was like back in game 4 something. I brought in Zaha and Dan, and they actually worked for me. Zaha got a couple of goals. Dan got a goal or two plus some clean sheets. So I'm hoping they can replicate that soon because they have some coming up.
Yeah,
Lead-
Yeah, I see the
Leeds
chat.
do have
Benteke mentioned
Yeah,
Benteke is a really good shot from the chat there. To credit to Quarry.
Kari,
Yeah, it's a good shot too.
If I could segue off the Palace one, so I remember when I was invited to the Halloween stream, Kurt,
Mhm.
we were talking about trick or treat, and I said Zaha, because he just has this thing of he'll go on a mad one and just return, just like 4 out of 5 weeks, and then suddenly seem to go a bit quiet, even though he's playing more as a striker these days. I just feel he has. I almost look at Zaha almost as a fixture-proof player. I actually just feel however he feels like playing. Like I could see him, come the time they play Man City away in game week 19. I could see him hauling, but he's just someone I'd never go near in FPL. And a bit like what Derek said, I think Eze is a decent shout simply because he doesn't take up too much budget and he's starting to become kind of one of the main instigators of attacking threat now for Crystal Palace. And I feel the left side is nailed for him. I think that's his position now.
Yeah, I think what's maybe frustrating about Zaha is where you just don't know when he's going to return. Like you said, there is, shoot, maybe I'm interested in him against City, right? You feel like, oh, maybe Zaha, I want to have him in the in the tough fixtures because he's going to catch a team in the counter. And that's kind of where I like somebody like Eze. It's like, if I'm going to bet on the Palace attack, who's most likely to be involved in a goal and at a more predictable time? And I feel like it might be somebody like him. And that's kind of why somebody like Benteke is interesting. You know what? Get Benteke when Palace play Leeds, because Leeds can't defend a set piece.
Derek, you get Benteke.
Yeah.
Kurt,
I need a 5.5 million striker because everybody tells me I need Kane, Son, Fernandez, De Bruyne, Salah. If I'm gonna have all those guys, it's gonna be Benteke on my front three.
The other thing I don't like about Zaha is he always finds himself fighting, getting yellow cards. I don't like that because last
so moody,
season,
isn't he? He's so moody.
I think in game week 16 is when people are qualifying for the cup. So that one point is very crucial, because last season I missed out on getting into the cup because of 1 point. I think it was like 45 and I had like 44 that week. So you cannot afford to have someone like that picking up yellow cards in such a crucial like period in FPL. So maybe in the future, but Benteke though, Derek, the name itself is not interesting. Benteke, nah.
Well, I think
Dominic
to the points in the
Calvert-Lewin is
chat,
my name,
real
really.
quickly. Go ahead, Glenn. Sorry, but to the points in the chat, I think you're probably right overall. I mean, look, Benteke, it just feels too out there. But I will say, I like seeing Benteke in the Palace team. I'm typing out a message to these guys right now. You know, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think Benteke makes all those other guys better. So I think he makes Eze and Zaha better assets. I think he should be in the squad. Now, whether you want to bet on him scoring the goals, he's creating space for them. So I think it's interesting.
It's fair enough
yeah.
to see that in recent times Benteke has been seen a bit of a meme. He's been in shocking form, but where Benteke is used best, and I'm being a Sheffield Wednesday fan, we used to have a player. His contract ran out at the end of last season, called Ati Nuhiu. And he's a player that he always works hard for the team. He'd always, he'd be he's always my favourite player. The problem is that a player that's big and plays up front is a player that has to play a certain way generally. So a player like Benteke, you need to play a certain style. If you play that style, you will get the absolute best out of him. And that style is giving him balls to feed off of and having someone around him to try and pick up those balls. Where you've got pacey wingers
like Giroud
out wide,
does sometimes.
like Giroud. So you've
yeah.
got pacey wingers out wide. You've got fullbacks that can come forward a bit and cross, and have an early cross or two. Benteke will be up for a battle any day of the week. The minute he sees a big tall centre back that looks strong as well, he's thinking, "Oh, this is a fight now. I'm up for this." And with Zaha swooping in around him, he becomes such a useful player. And if you can get him into a good bit of form, you can get him positive. It's the sort of player that once he starts firing, when he had his good moment of form a few years ago, he was brilliant because the team he played for played a certain way, and when he's played his best in previous teams as well, they set up to support Benteke. And it doesn't have to be in the air; it can be in the ground, but you need to play the way that Benteke likes to play, and Giroud likes to play, Nuhiu likes to play. Otherwise, if you play try and play some sort of tiki-taka football, you try and play football on the ground, generally, you're not going to get the best out of a player who loves a battle in the air. It is fact, and now that they've started using Benteke the way he's meant to be, all of a sudden now he becomes a humongous option. And it is something at 5.5 million, you're looking at someone that's differential. Why not? Why not? There's madder things to do than bring in Christian Benteke. Granted,
like Arsenal defence. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
I know
or
he got a red
Aubameyang
card.
captain.
Is he?
Captain.
Is he suspended from his red card?
I think he might be back for the next game.
If he's back for the next game.
Yeah, he's only a 1-game suspension because it was a second yellow, so he should be back.
Oh,
He just missed Liverpool. Right. He just missed Liverpool, and it was a really harsh second yellow. It was a really bad call.
Yeah,
it was really rough.
And the fixtures they have now with Villa away, Leicester at home, Sheffield home, Arsenal away. I mean, I think he could potentially return. Especially, I concur with you. If they play to his strengths, which they have been, almost punting it to him, he's got half decent touch, great strength, lays it on to the likes of Schlupp, Eze, and Zaha. I agree with you. I think it's not only about goals but assists as well. I could see that with Benteke.
Real quick on the Benteke point, it's funny, like you said, how I can remember Benteke being better and how he could go in these. Look, I'm a Liverpool fan. I remember how you said how bad he could be. It's like I'm a Liverpool fan. Trust me, I remember how cold he went. But absolutely, guys, I think it's really interesting. I think it's Liverpool. We beat them 7-0, but for early in the match there, when I think it was 1-0 Liverpool, Palace were probably creating the better chances for 15-20 minutes there, and that was even without Benteke. They probably should have beaten Spurs potentially. They certainly deserved the draw, and they created a lot of chances there. Looked really good, and they've just looked better going forward. Even in terms of getting on the ball and breaking teams down time to time. They seem to be, sometimes they're the ones dominating the ball. You always think of them as just deep low block, counterattack is it, right? But I think they've done a nice job. The one thing that, like you guys have mentioned, Batman is kind of puzzling. Batshuayi, why he doesn't play more. But other than that, I mean, the signings of Eze and bringing Benteke into the team, they've looked a lot better. I can't believe we're saying it, right? But Palace might become interesting, especially with, like I said, that 19 to 24, 26 run is so good. You might want to get one of those guys in. You know, might be. I think the issue is, right, who's going to get the points, and that's going to be tricky. That's why I think Ray and I kind of get this feeling that maybe, much like Bruno, maybe Eze will kind of be in the middle of it all. Maybe he'll be the fulcrum.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, Ray says Benteke has a chance against Arsenal. I actually agree. And Kat has talked about them playing to his strengths. And it makes me think, the amount of crosses Arsenal put in the box, I think Benteke would actually work out for us right now. He'd be very good for us right now. And if that day we have the likes of Holding, I think he can actually return, unfortunately. All of a sudden become so bad at corners and free kicks. So I think Benteke could be a good option. Not the best of options, but yeah, differential maybe. Maybe a couple of more goals for him this.
It's not a bad shout, actually, Benteke against Arsenal.
He went through, statistically, a run, if you're one of the XG guys and you're like, trying to figure out the ins and outs of a duck's ass on Fantasy Football Scout, they had, all the goals imminent tables and all that. I think there was a little stretch last year where Benteke was like dominating the whole sheet. I mean, he was his shots on target, shots in the box, all that good stuff. So he can go through a period where it's going to be like Calvert-Lewin, right? You're just like, he's there, he's in the box, and the ball's falling to either his head or his feet, and he's going to get chances.
It's also worth noting that when he scored 2 against West Brom, that was his first start of the season. Before that point, he hadn't played in 4 games. 8 minutes against Everton, 2 against Brighton, 6 against Wolves, 5 against Leeds, 13 against Burnley, and 24 against Newcastle. So put some faith in him, one bit of faith in the way they play, and he's returned. And he's started 3 games.
Yeah, he's got 3 and 3, hasn't he?
Yeah,
3 and 3.
It is tempting. It is tempting.
No. It's not tempting.
I feel
have
like,
him on your watch list.
I feel like Ray came on here to talk me out of getting in an Arsenal defender, and the only thing we've done is talk me into bringing Benteke in. It's got worse. This ain't no intervention. This has just got worse.
Yeah, this is actually my secret way of actually making more points because of silly decisions of Benteke and Arsenal defence. You know what? David Luiz looked good in training.
Oh, don't you start. No, we are ending this right
now. He's also coming for some inspiration.
When it comes to Arsenal. Glenn, okay? Have I sickened you?
Oh, God.
I was coming for some inspiration, and I'm just like, Kat, I'm leaving with some more crazy ideas of maybe dropping from 2 million to 6 million. Benteke and Aubameyang in the same team. It's just cutting out from disaster.
Eze and Gabriel as well.
Gabriel and Bellerin. And now I'm having to choose between Bellerin and Niles. Thank you, Derek.
You're welcome. I mean, you're very, very welcome. How long can you talk about Salah all day, though, honestly? I guess that's part of the point is, maybe I'm reaching, maybe we're all reaching, but, yeah, we get it. Salah's good. You don't need me to tell you that. Get Salah in, and then, all the stuff we're talking about right now probably is how do you fill your team out when you're sitting there stressing over, like I see in the chat, a guy wants to talk about James Maddison. And I'll shut up for the moment here, but I think he's a very interesting conversation. I think Leicester are an interesting conversation in general, because I think I mentioned it earlier how they could defensively. I think they could really, you could see some of the flashes of brilliance that they had last year if they get Soyuncu back here soon. Because I think Fofana is even better for them than Johnny Evans, just because I think Johnny Evans is just getting too old. His legs are going. So I think you've got a couple of teams right now that where every year we see the template shift, and a lot of times I think it happens right about now. And so it's like, who are the sides that are going to go on a run of form, and who are the sides that are going to maybe fall off the pace a little bit. Not that they'll fall off the pace for the rest of the season, but we talked about it earlier. I think maybe this is the time where you can feel a little bit better about not having double Chelsea defense or Southampton defenders. Maybe now is where we see a little bit of form from a Leicester. Maybe Palace. Maybe Palace don't stick to only having one clean sheet thus far. I think that, they're going to certainly have a chance to go on a little run of clean sheets here, like we talked about with the fixtures. So some numbers are going to come back to mean. They're going to revert to mean.
It's interesting. I mean, Kurt, how long have you had Fofana for? And has he been performing for you?
I've got him in. I think I got him 5 weeks ago, so I've had him for from Fulham to now. So I've got 1 point, 2 points, 6 points, 1 point, and 10 points.
And are you looking to just keep him all the way to the double game week stretch?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm not too impressed with him. But he's a differential, and I think Man United's a bit tough. And I think if they are going to lose Leicester, then the chances are they could lose quite heavily, because the way Man United are playing, they could tear anyone apart. And anytime they go forward, it's like 5 or 6 players on 2 defenders.
It's sensational.
But Palace away, Newcastle away looks good. Then it's the sort of thing. If I take a -4 here, I can get Chilwell out. I can get Fofana out. I have enough money for Diaz and enough money for another defender from either one of the bigger teams like Arsenal or Palace. So that's the other thing that he probably
bigger
would
teams like Arsenal.
But players that I do want,
Are you
defenders
joking?
that I do want, which would be an Arsenal defender just because of the shiny green fixtures.
There are no green fixtures for Arsenal right now. Everything is a red.
Everything is 5. Fixture rating is 5.
FPL have been getting their. They haven't updated it, the FDR yet. But I think Nuclear Atoms is pretty keen to discuss this. But what are your thoughts, Kurt? What are you thinking in regards to Maddison? Is he kind of on your watch list? Because I've been keeping an eye on him a lot, especially with Ndidi back now protecting that defense. I think Maddison has more of a license to express himself, a la Grealish. So I'm sure Nuclear wants to know your thoughts on Maddison.
Not really. Maddison, I'm not really considered at all in previous seasons, and I'm looking back at his previous seasons. Granted, his price has always been around sort of 7 million, 6.5 to 7 million, but I mean, this season he started again 7 million. I mean, first season at Leicester, 7 goals, 7 assists. Second season, 6 goals, 5 assists. Currently, he's got 3 goals, 3 assists, and we're about just over a third of the way through.
He wasn't fit very early in the season, too. Maddison. I mean, we're still talking about Maddison, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, he's just now starting to play regular minutes. Early in the season, you look, it was 30, 45. So in fairness, there you got to keep that in context that he had a major surgery, I think, in the off season. So he's just now getting back to fitness.
That's fair enough. But yeah, not someone annoyingly that I'd considered too much. But he's interesting though. He is definitely interesting. I'll give him that. Why is anyone thinking of? Is there someone thinking of getting him in?
Yeah, I think Nuclear is he's on his radar because he mentioned him a couple of times.
He's an interesting one.
I think that's kind of why I went on the Eze role for a little bit. Not just all the fun about Palace and Benteke, because I'm looking at. I think a lot of us are looking at chip strategy, right, with blanks and doubles. A lot of us are looking at maybe Jared Bowen, guys in that. I think if you look at the way you build your team right now, you're gonna probably have about anywhere from 6 to 7.5 to spend on a midfielder, and I think that's what people are feeling right now. And I think they're looking at Maddison, Jared Bowen. If we could watch West Ham a little bit longer before the double here, I wonder if Ben Rama might get interesting too, just because he's a good 400K cheaper than Bowen. But Maddison for me is interesting with Leicester because, and we talked about it already in the chat a little bit. We hashed it out where Leicester are getting back to their old shape, which is basically a 4-1-4-1, which is actually a really attacking formation. And when you have a guy like Wilfred Ndidi, who's probably maybe Fabinho, I'd say Fabinho is probably the best. Wilfred Ndidi is probably the second best defensive midfielder in the Premier League. Now that Fernandinho is aging, I think Fernandinho used to be number one, but he does the work of two players probably, and so it allows you to just basically play a front five of Vardy, Maddison, Tielemans, Under, or Perez on the right, and Barnes on the left. And because you've seen Harvey Barnes has come out of the team a lot, and I think they've been playing a back three because they've had so much fitness issues, and they've just had to protect their defense. And they haven't had Ndidi to help protect. And Nampalys Mendy's done okay. But if Maddison can get back to sort of being a 10 or a shadow striker and being pushed high up there, with his job is basically to feed Vardy. And I think the initial question was, why isn't Maddison getting any assists? Well, kind of look at Vardy this year, right? Vardy he's still returned superbly, but it's been a lot of penalties and a lot of games where it's been tough to own him because you just feel like he's not getting a sniff. We've always felt like that, I guess, with Vardy. It's kind of, he doesn't get a lot of chances, but he takes the chances he gets. But I feel like this year he's been there's been some matches where it's been particularly barren for them, where they've had trouble with creativity and getting the ball to Vardy. And I think once there's more solidity at the back and they can get the ball forward and Maddison is not having to drop so deep to get the ball, if he's up there with Vardy, you're going to see more assists from Maddison. He's had more chances to shoot. I think he's, again, potentially a good shot. It's one of those things where if they keep getting fitter, and it's one of those where you could see the template shift, right? Where Leicester, it's like, oh yeah, this is the Leicester we kind of remember from, like, I don't know, what was it, maybe October to December last year, right? Where they were battering some teams. Southampton fans, we do not want to remind you again, right?
Oh Jesus, no! I just realised what you're referring to. No, we don't want to refer to
the score line that shall not be named.
Exactly. I can give you 9 reasons why I shouldn't say it right now.
How many lives do you count?
Burn. Oh, jeez. Not as many as Jamie Marty. Oh. Yep.
So, Kurt, have you kind of so you still have a free transfer going into Boxing Day, don't you?
Yeah, I've got one free transfer to use.
And are you thinking just Chilwell to someone?
Well, the obvious thing is Chilwell out, so I will make one transfer. And I might be a bit busy on Christmas Day, so I want to try and make it by the end of today. I've added players to the watch list, the 7 defenders that I'm looking at, which is Gabriel, Diaz, Dyer, Reguilon, Aurier, Matip, and Stones currently. So it will be either Chilwell out for someone as a straight swap, or it will be Chilwell on for Fana out, so I can get maybe an Arsenal and City or an Arsenal and Spurs.
Or you could get a Robbo or Trent.
I don't have enough money for Robbo Trent, I think, and also actually, could I? If I moved, I might be able to squeeze it in if I bring in like a £3.9 million defender. Let me just test that. Or Douglas. If I put Douglas in, I've got 7.3, which gets
so you can
me.
bring in Trent then.
Yeah, well, Robbo or Trent, 7.3. Robbo 7.2. Trent. But ideally, I want to keep people that are playing because I know full well I'll bring Douglas in and think, excellent, I can now have Robbo and Trent, and then 2 of my defenders will get injured. But brilliant. Now I've got 2 defenders that can play.
Or you could go for Taylor, isn't it? And then at least you have your double. And
do we have any Leeds fans
home to
here?
Sheffield United and Fulham, and then obviously the double.
Any Leeds fans here? I'm kind of curious. In terms of saving money. Sometimes it's even 1 to 300K it makes a difference. And if you're doing, bench boost game week 19, if you still have the issues with Robin Koch, if he's still injured, I wonder if Alioski is still a shot because he's basically a left winger. I think he scored a ton of their goals maybe not a ton, but quite a few of their goals last year in the championship, and he's 4.4, and he is a defender, and we all hate Leeds. You know, it's anybody that knows. I sense. I mean, he's been playing quite a bit. I think Alioski might be a shout if you can't quite get to Dallas or Ayling. I guess Ayling's still only 4.5, so usually you can. But he might be somebody to free up funds.
There might not be a Leeds fan right now, but if Arsenal get relegated, I might be a Leeds fan next season. But as of now, I can't say between those. But their fixtures, Leeds fixtures, are looking very nice. Like Burnley and West Brom. I'm also thinking of bringing one of their defenders or something. Alioski is the way they attacked Newcastle last week. Like literally everyone, Harrison, Dallas, Click.
They scored 3 goals in the last 13 minutes. It was bonkers.
And everyone was going forward.
Yeah, and they do it every match.
The way Kat said United have like 6 players against 2 defenders every time. That game it was similar.
I mean,
Let's hear it.
Defender for me
Nuclear?
would be worrying unless that you've got one that's going to bomb forward, because I'm pretty sure at the moment they're starting with dopey Luke Ayling in centre back, and he's a full back. I think he's sort of he's similar to a Cresswell. I'd have him a 3 at the back. I wouldn't have him in a 2, and I think that's why Leeds are being carved open a bit too much at the moment, because they're missing sort of a second recognised centre back.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know that
Lorente. They really
I've
miss
had
Lorente.
Ayling.
You don't want to have a Leeds defender long term, but like Glenn said, they have a really nice double. If you feel like it's a nice punt on some attacking returns as part of a bench boost, right? If you don't feel like there's a 5th defender that you're betting on clean sheets from, I think he's really interesting because again, 4.4, and you feel like, or just go with Dallas at 4.7. You feel like it's just a 3rd Leeds attacker, right? Like, do I have another shot at goals here over a double game week? I think is the way you think about the Leeds defenders right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had Ayling all season, and the moment, as Kat said, the moment you switch to a centre back, I was like, what? Because the first 3 games I watched him, he was attacking pretty well, like against City early on, and then he was switched back to a centre back, and now like it's always 1 point and 0 points every single week, and he's having to come off the bench because most of the players are not playing and are getting rotated. So I don't know why, but I'm looking to transfer him out very, very soon for maybe that Dallas game.
Yeah, I would probably go with that, and watching a lot of Championship football, being soon to be watching a lot of League One football as a Wednesday fan. Ayling was one of the main reasons for their success in the Championship, and you look at his stats in the Championship, I'm pretty sure it was something ridiculous, like 8 goals, 8 assists, something like that. And he would get so many, and he could have had so much more. And granted,
he and Dallas were neck and neck last season.
And obviously they're not. You're playing against better teams. You can't go and have both your fullbacks constantly on the overlap against someone like Liverpool, because you will be torn to shreds. But
well, they're doing it.
They're trying, and they are being torn to shreds. But it's mad because I mean, surely they've got an extra centre back that they can bring in to keep Luke Ayling on the right, but must not have.
And as a centre back, it does not have any threat in the opposition box when they have corners. That is why I'm feeling so like angry owning him, because he's not a threat like
exactly
corners and free kick. If he's not playing right back, it's time to transfer him out. I did not actually know that Dallas would play every single game and Ayling would be centre backs. That was another bad transfer, but I've owned him since Gameweek 1, but he has never returned apart from, I think, 1 clean sheet. That day Bamford scored a hat-trick against Villa. That was the only time like he returned in. So he's not a good option. The others, yeah. I was wondering how many Leeds assets would you have for the next few weeks? Because apart from those 2 games that Derek mentioned against Burnley and West Brom, I think also in the double game week, I think 18-19 there, they also have some 2 good fixtures. How many Leeds assets do you have?
Well, I have Dallas and Bamford, and I'm just going to keep him until probably for the foreseeable future, because Dallas is not that expensive, so I can bench him. And with Bamford, I bought him in on my wild card, and fortunately he's returned quite a lot to me. So yeah, I'm scheduled to play Dallas the next 2 fixtures, not against Tottenham. Free hit 18, and I'll have him back for the double game week in 19. So yeah, for me it's 2, and I'll stay on that.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same. At the moment I have 2, but I mean Ayling's barely playing. I mean Ayling's coming in this week at the moment, purely and simply because Chilwell's injured, Lewis, I'm not
Yeah.
going to start Lewis away to Man City. If I get rid of Chilwell, get rid of Fofana, it will most likely be Ayling will be on the bench again. And 4.5 million on a defender to have constantly on your bench, and even if he comes off the bench, like last week, if I had someone not playing and he came off the bench, I'd have lost a point. It's
Well, he came on. He came on for me because like 3 of my
Oh,
players didn't play.
Jesus.
That shows you how important the bench is.
yeah,
But
exactly.
it's not important minus the negatives
Yeah.
on the bench.
I've had a real funny kind of experience with Leeds this year. I really missed Bamford, and I shouldn't have. I feel like, but in the I had a Matt Ryan problem there whenever that came up when he first got dropped, and so I went with Melier. Man, that's actually kind of worked out okay. And I remember looking at it at the time. If only they, I think there's as some Leeds fans that I've listened to before, they thought that there would be clean sheets here for them, because the interesting thing about them is I think they ended up with the best defensive record in the championship last year, and of course the championship is not the Premier League, but one of the things that tipped the scales for me with Melier is a lot of times I know we think about an FPL goalkeeper for one being cheap, but also you almost don't want the goalkeeper from the team like Brighton, where they don't face any shots and never get any save points, because you get a clean sheet, there's no bonus points, right? And you want the save points to kind of mitigate when they do get beaten up a little bit. But Melier was not playing Liverpool or City until something like game week 32. So I've had this really long run here with Melier where like the fixture is never too bad. And of course, they just got battered by United. And I've certainly tried to pick on the Leeds defense with my attackers as well. But they're a funny team because you feel like you can get this upside from a cheap defender or a Melier in goal. But yeah, I mean, they're not. If you need clean sheets, you want clean sheets. I would never, just like you guys have said, you find yourself sticking Ayling or Dallas on your bench, first off your bench, because you just don't want to make one of those guys part of your first 3 defenders. And you when you want clean sheets, you can't bank on it. So I think right now, like I said, they're interesting just by virtue of a double, and because the fixtures are tasty enough, I think where maybe you feel like this is the time where you can bet on a clean sheet, or at least you're giving yourself 2 shots at a Dallas goal, right? Or an attacking return. That's what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'll be intrigued more about keeping Ayling if they were in game week 18. The only other thing is if I am potentially going to try and hold the bench boost, which is, I'm 95% sure I'm playing a bench boost, but I still need players to come in. Ayling probably will end up going.
I'm thinking, Kurt, that you're entertaining taking out Chilwell. Maybe just take out Chilwell, bring in Taylor, and roll the transfer, or don't take a hit, because Charlie Taylor after Leeds away has Sheffield United at home and Fulham at home, and I have Charlie Taylor. I just bought him in basically for those 2 fixtures. And then at least you have some money to play with to kind of decide what you want to do. Because even though Dallas is a better asset than Ayling currently, because Ayling is playing centre-back, if you're going to take out Ayling, I wouldn't do the sideways move to Dallas. I'd probably look to bring in someone else completely, maybe like a Matip, because you will have the money at that point. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you try, of course, please challenge me on this, but if you were thinking of taking out Ayling,
I did, Ray. I challenged you in the chat. You'll love it.
Kurt, sorry. if you take out Ayling and take out Chilwell, then maybe Matip and Charlie Taylor, because again, you've got the double weak players that you were just talking about.
It's intriguing. It's just something to think
I just
about.
dropped the mic.
It'll probably keep me awake until about midnight, 1 o'clock tonight, and I'm thinking, I've got to go before the price changes happen. But
oh my God, it's Christmas! No, FPL.
keep on getting people text me Merry Christmas, being like, sod off, I'm making me transfer. Can't concentrate
Derek, you
with all
are
this
a piece of
happiness.
You're welcome. Nuclear took the bait. I love you, Mike.
Yeah,
He's like, Burnley will keep my... I know, man. Come on. Speaking of those tasty fixtures for Burnley, is anybody interested in Chris Wood? While we just talk about every possible player in FPL, why don't we do it? When does Chris Wood
possible double
for
game
set
week
piece
punt,
defense?
isn't it? Possible double game week punt. They don't create enough chances. But
Yeah.
it's a bit like Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson is just getting the penalties, while Burnley don't get any penalties. So
To
For the
be
double
fair,
game week, I really wanted Antonio, but I'm just scared, and I'm scared of dropping DCL because he's been amazing for me. But I think Wood is he's a solid player. I just don't think he'll haul get some massive points.
to be fair,
In
they
my
did
opinion.
create some chances against Wolves. I thought that was interesting, and sure, that might say more about Wolves right now. But what I just said to myself, in sort of talking to myself out loud just now, is when do they play Leeds? It's actually this week. If the time to own Chris Wood is right now, the way Leeds defend set pieces. So kind of a funny. If you have a transfer to burn, you need a striker for 1 week before. If you're wild carding in 16.
Yeah,
I
and then
already
the fixtures,
burned mine. Otherwise, I would have done it.
and then the fixtures after that, Sheffield United and Fulham at home, they'll certainly create chances. So yeah, maybe Chris Wood, and then the double game week. So yeah.
The way Leeds defend corners, there's not a way they defend corners. They don't. They don't even have a way of defending corners. They just feel like, you know what, get ahead. Do what you want. We don't really care.
This is my position. I'm not moving.
They were bad at it with. Excuse me, right? They were bad at it with actual traditional center halves in there, right? And to Kurt's point, now it's Ailing in there. They just don't have the height right now either. So even if they were competent in terms of their shape and their tactics in defending them, they just don't even have the height to do it. I mean, Chris Wood will bully any of those defenders in the box.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And even then, crosses in. If you're getting a cross in to the back post, you're putting your money on Chris Wood getting a jump over Luke Ayling any day of the week and twice on a friggin' Sunday.
What was James from Planet FPL saying about Burnley is every freaking match, they play that ball into the box, over to the back post, and head it back across goal. Every single match. They play that play, and that was the first goal against Wolves, I think. It's they do it every single match, and nobody can stop it, it seems like. Or they still have trouble stopping it from time to time. I guess, like Ray said, they just don't do it often enough, or they're not creative enough to threaten teams frequently enough with it.
Glenn, are you taking notes?
It's such a boring team. They don't deserve to be in the league, honestly.
Oh, no.
Just long balls and crosses. I mean, I'm even surprised you're talking about owning any of the assets. They don't have any other way of scoring. Literally just corners and free kicks. So if they don't have any free kicks or corners at all, you cannot get anything. They're such a boring team. I don't know. And they actually beat us.
The resident Stoke City, aren't they?
Yeah, it reminds me. And yeah, they beat us. So they actually do remind me of City. Such boring football, and then they get one corner.
I feel
I agree
It's
with
everyone
you.
in the team.
really apologetic. I started this stream and thought, you know what, I'll spread some Christmas cheer of everyone. And I feel like I've had a good moment until Glenn got here, and we've just sent Glenn down this path of sadness and depression.
Back to
You talk about Arsenal all the time, talking about Burnley and the way they play. I feel like Glenn's going to come off this and think, I don't want to celebrate anymore, don't I?
yeah, last appearance on FPL WildCats for sure.
Oh no!
Hey, here comes Santa Claus, Glenn. I've got an idea. Let's talk about who Liverpool can pick off from Arsenal when they get relegated.
Oh,
Who's the
God.
best? Who's the best transfer in
You
for
know,
my
I'm
Reds?
also an Arsenal
Glenn?
fan, you piece of crap.
Oh gosh.
Who are Spurs gonna buy? Okay, now that's just low. That's just a punch to the nuts. But yeah, that's maybe. I would love to have Saka. I mean, wouldn't we all? Left winger. Maybe sell Mane for 150 million and flip him for Saka.
So yeah, carry
would
on.
actually do that.
Kurt, what do you think?
Oh. Pass. I'm not getting involved.
You're saying about Christmas spirit, yeah.
I thought, you know what, this is going to be the last time Nim allows me to stream on my own. Like, no, last time you streamed on your own. Glenn Kitely said he's never going to come on the Wildcats again. You got everyone miserable. God Christ. On that note, we've been talking FPL for about 2.5 hours now, and I'm absolutely starving being the size of a whale, so I'm going to have to go and make myself something to eat. Thank you very much for everyone being here. Thank you to Glenn, to Rebel Derek, and to Mr. Ray,
No
the
problem.
new 5th
Thank you,
member
man.
of the Wildcats. Congratulations,
Thank you
Ray.
so much. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas, everyone.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kurt. Thanks for having all of us. Glenn, great to talk to you again. Great to talk to you for the first time, Kurt. So Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope you guys, get to see plenty of your families, whether it be Zoom or whatever. I know We're in a little bit of a lockdown here in Michigan, so we do empathize a little bit here in the States. It's not like we're totally aloof to what you're going through. We had a much stricter lockdown here, back in the spring, and so our hearts go out to you, because I know you guys are cooped up at a time when you really shouldn't be and don't want to be. So I hope you get to experience as much kind of love and connection with your families as you can. So.
No, cheers,
Joking
Derek.
about Arsenal aside,
Oh, you had to put it in one more time, huh?
Hey, listen, shameless. Listen to our pod. I think there's hope. I actually have hope for you guys. When I finally get this episode edited, I think there's real reason to be optimistic for Arsenal going forward. I think the ownership here is just starting to put their foot down a little bit and kind of make their mark. So could be interesting.
Sounds good, but I'll definitely check that out. But cheers, everyone. Cheers. Oh, sorry. Cheers, Derek. Sorry, Glenn. I'll catch you all again very soon. And to everyone in the chat, cheers as well. Been fun, but now I'm going to go and eat my sadness away about my Arsenal transfers being belittled by everyone. Sad times. But cheers, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon.
Maitland-Niles, triple captain.
Oh, God.